Ladies and gentlemen, I used a very powerful flashlight to express the fact that I am going to shine some light on the religious tenets of both Catholicism, possibly Judaism, and certainly the Seventh-day Adventists. And I'm going to do that because I had a very disheartening experience this week with some so-called religious people of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. So let me go back a little bit, digressing back a little bit. I'm going to talk about, first of all, I studied religion and theology and the Eastern philosophies and principles, including Buddhism and Zen, Tao, Hinduism. I studied this stuff exclusively for 17 years. So I have a little bit more knowledge than most people about different philosophies that occur all over the planet and how each of those philosophies deal with truth, hypocrisy, and or their general ways of life. And I did these studies because eventually I ended up writing a book about the King James Bible called Angels on the Ark by Michael Fazio. And the link to that is on my homepage. It's a 1,900-page book. I originally started out writing that book to prove the existence of a God, a single deity that controlled the world or controlled the thoughts of a majority of people in the world. What I eventually discovered is that the Bible, the King James Bible more specifically, was written by a man in the year 1611. I believe his name was Francis Bacon, and he was a Mason. And the interesting thing about that is that the words in the King James Bible associate themselves with the pictographs on the dollar bill. And the stories in the Bible, more specifically the book of Exodus, where the description of how to create and build the Ark of the Covenant was given to the Israelites and or Moses, how those words associate themselves with an actual pictograph of the Ark of the Covenant on the back of the dollar bill. But that's really not what today's commentary is going to be about. It's going to be about hypocrites and religion. So I want to go to my channel and get to the comments page so that I can ask you as people to express your thoughts on religion as well. As long as you keep clean, I believe it would be advantageous for other people to comment on their beliefs if they are religious, and if they're not religious, why aren't you religious? Because I got to tell you, there are a million reasons why I would never become a religious person in any religion again. Okay, so I don't see any comments yet because this is going to be a touchy subject. There's no doubt about that. So if someone just cares to put in a comment so that I know that you are. Okay, Scott Del Fuego. Okay, Scott got your repaired computer back. Wow. My computer has been giving me a lot of problems. I had to restart it this morning, Scott. Between the hours of 2 a.m. and 3:30, I restarted it 4 times, and then 3 more times this morning. I uploaded a video where I got smacked in the head. I got ran over by a jet ski yesterday, but I do have the aftermath of getting smacked in the head by a jet ski going 30 to 40 miles an hour. I have that on video. It's loading now. I had to have the police come to Alona Beach, and I got a pretty good sized knot on my head. It wasn't so big yesterday, but it's a good size today. I got actually straight run over. Had I not turned around and seen the jet ski, I doubt very much I would be making this live stream today. But I do have the entire conversation with the police the jet ski rental organization and the people, more specifically the Chinese woman who ran me over with the jet ski, who was hysterical in the panic mode and panicked and left the scene and left me to die or be incapacitated without even turning around, even though she knew she hit me. But those videos are loading now. I'll show it to you. That part 2 of the video is loading now. It's going to be called Alona Beach. Chinese literally ran me over with a jet ski, and it's at 33%, it looks like. I can't see it without my glasses. Yeah, that was an interesting day yesterday, 38%. So I'm going to go back to the live stream. Yeah, that would have been fatal had it not been for a series of events that occurred within seconds of the jet ski smacking me in the head. Had not a series of events that were completely bizarre happened, I would never have turned around, and I would probably be dead right now. So, welcome to the machine, Scott Del Fuego. So we're going to go back now. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for stopping by and helping me with the live stream. So we're going to go back to the religious tenets of Seventh-day Adventists, Catholics, Roman Catholics, Judaism, because I do have some experience with people that are very, very, very serious about the Sabbath on Friday night in the Jewish culture, where they would not be able to pay you on Friday night, and they would have to give you a check on Sunday, because that left them the ability to keep that money in the bank until it cleared. And then, so for 2 cents on a few $1,000s, a few cents on a few, they would make you come back to their house or business for a check. These people were just religious hypocrites, in my opinion. And they're very famous people, too. One of them was a deputy mayor of New York City and the head of the DEP. But we're going to talk about Seventh-day Adventists right now, because there was a channel last week whose the owners of the channel professed to be Seventh-day Adventists. Yeah, they're Seventh-day Adventists, and they adhere to the teachings of Jesus Christ. They adhere to the book of Leviticus, where they don't eat fish, shellfish, crabs, snails, snakes, any fish that doesn't have scales on it. The book of Leviticus covers a lot of territory. And the problem with the book of Leviticus, and believe me, I've studied the Bible, the problems with those rules in the book of Leviticus, which has nothing to do with being a sanctimonious hypocrite, Seventh-day Adventist, Christian, or Jewish, of the Jewish faith. The book of Leviticus was written at a time where there was no such thing as a refrigerator or ice or any kind of storage ability for fish of any nature. Plus, the book of Leviticus specifically renders any kind of shellfish or anything that lives on the bottom of the ocean and eats dead carcass, it says you can't eat that. And because there's a certain bacteria from eating dead, rotten flesh from whatever fell down to the bottom of the seafloor. So, but that doesn't have anything to do with God's laws. It had to do with a sanitary code that the Jews were way ahead of their time by implementing into the Bible. Don't eat any kind of shellfish that eats a bottom dwelling, something that died and fell down to the bottom, because the bacteria could still be inside the bowels or the fish itself. So that didn't have anything to do with God. Now, later on in Christianity, which is another hoax in and of itself, but also Later on, Christianity said that on Friday, aka Good Friday, we only eat fish. We don't eat meat. Again, that had nothing whatsoever to do with the eating of meat. What it had to do was that most of the people that were religious at that time in those places earned a living not from cattle farming, but from, in fact, fishing. Now, there were more cattle farmers than fishermen, but most of the people that went to church and prayed and donated into the collection coffers were fishermen, more so than cattle, because the cattle farmers had nothing to ask God for. They had plenty of land, plenty of grazing, wheat, corn, barley for their cattle and farm animals. But the fishermen, they had to pray every day for a good catch, because no one knows where the fish are going to be on any given day, and also they had to contend with storms. So the Friday rule of eating fish had nothing whatsoever to do with God and or a principle of being a better person of God. It basically just had to do with that 90%, and that's a good number. 90% of all donations to the church at that time of history were given to the church by people that fished. And what had happened at that point in history is that the fishermen were not being able to sell their fish. So the people that rewrote, and re-edited and edited the Bible made it a law of God, or a commandment of God, to eat fish on Friday, when actually it was to placate a monetary loss from the fishing industry, because if the church, who got 90% of their income from fishermen, and the fishermen didn't catch fish, well, then how is the church going to continue? So they did that solely based on monetary gains. Now, as far as the not eating shellfish or any bottom-dwelling fish, well, that rule was placed because there was no refrigeration, no way to contain or cool the fish down. So in just one day out in the sun, unrefrigerated bottom fish, the bacteria counts rose so high in just a few hours of being in the hot weather that the bacteria was killing people. So somehow their scientists or their doctors at the time figured out that let's just make it so that we don't eat these fish, and also it'll give us a good thing as a rule, because you got to have rules when you're religious. There's a lot of rules. And when you break the rules, of course, you can pray to Jesus. Jesus, I broke one of your rules. Oh, that's okay. Give me 10 Hail Marys and 2 Our Fathers, and throw some money in a collection box and light up a candle, and you are forgiven, my son. So the shellfish rule was for medical purposes and the ending of a bacteriological, possible viral infection amongst the people. And the Good Friday eating fish only was for monetary purposes for the fishing community, so that if the fishermen had fish to sell, they would sell the fish. Notice it was a Friday, and they'd catch their fish, and on Sunday they would have that abundance of money in their pocketbooks, and they'd give that to the church. So I'm going to read the comments now. Scott, yeah, thank you. You're going to see this in video where the woman admitted that she ran me over and she panicked. Scott says, I want everyone to know that this show is being presented by a man, a real man. He has worked with his hands, run businesses, flown, obtained special licenses, and most importantly, has lived life fully. Thank you, Scott. Michael is a blue-collar man that is steeped in the trades, has rough hands and rough attitude when tested, is a true friend, and is a brilliant mind, as an open prairie to explore the concepts of the unknown, unbelievable, and the fringes of our knowledge, to challenge accepted wisdom in the quest for answers to the deepest questions of our existence. And you are much better at surmising my life and my mental acuities and beliefs than I am, because I'll just tell you that I'm basically smarter than 99% of all the people that have ever lived when in a general knowledge. And if you want to rebuttaling that, go ahead and rebuttaling it, because most of the people that are going to do the rebuttaling have IQs of around 52. Because if they were to know me and understand all the things I have posted on YouTube, then no, it's not a Seventh-day Adventist channel. Dude, I have nothing to do with the Seventh-day Adventists or religion. I am just explaining the hypocrisy of various religions, including the Seventh-day Adventists. So I might as well digress, because Penrose asked a good question. So here is my experience with Seventh-day Adventists and hypocrisy in Good Morning Flying Circus. Welcome to the machine. We're going to talk about the hypocrisy which runs absolutely beyond the imagination in Seventh-day Adventists and Catholicism and Judaic philosophies. But let's talk about the Seventh-day Adventists first. So in September of 2001, I bought a brand new Cobra Mustang. Prior to that, I became friends with a pastor who was also a tree surgeon named Dan. We'll just call him Pastor Dan, who was very religious. And I was writing a book about religion, and more specifically, the King James Bible. So he begged me and pleaded with me to come to his church when there was going to be a gentleman named Art, A-R-T, Swaningson, S-W-A-N-I-N-G-T-O-N-S-O-N. Art Swaningson, S-O-N are the last three letters. Art Swaningson was the lead philosopher and or orator for the Seventh-day Adventist Church in the southern part of the United States. And he was a well-traveled, world-traveled man that preached the Seventh-day Adventist philosophy for the church in order to earn a living. That's what he did for a living. And also to bring people under some certain guidelines in regards to religion and philosophy. So on the first day at the first event, I have the flyer somewhere. I have a logos from the church I took off. I don't remember where I put it. But anyway, on the first day, on the first meeting, it was going to be like a 6-week course. Let's say it took place on Mondays and Wednesdays. So it was going to be 6 weeks and 12 sessions. And then he would move on to another section of the country. So the first day, we got our books. They gave us a loose leaf. They gave us some papers to read. And in those papers were certain quotes from the Bible. So I had read I had read every Bible, Christian and or Protestant Bible, and the Jewish Kabbalah. I had read that multiple times, all of those multiple times. So I knew the answers to the questions on the test. And I went to the seminar. I was there, and he asked some questions, and I answered some questions to him. But I would ask him a question to rebound his statements. And he said to me, by the time I had done that 2 or 3 times on the first day, he said to me, "I'd like to talk to you after the meeting," because the meeting lasted about an hour and 15 minutes. He said, "I'd like to talk to you personally. Please stay." So I did. Mr. Willis, welcome to the machine. Bill James. Bill James. Scott and I have been friends for a very long time. So if you're insinuating anything else, probably not a good thing. Scott is a real man, what other real men look like and sound like. maybe you are too, and maybe not. So we want to continue posting. Just keep it clean and have fun. Listen to what I'm about to tell you, because it's all true, Bill. So at the end of the meeting, I had asked Art some hard questions. One of the questions I always ask all of these religious fervents or religious scholars, he was a scholar, though, when it came to the Bible. Art could quote you every single word in every paragraph and tell you what page it was on in the Bible. Now, when I tell you he could quote you any word, any verse, or any paragraph in the Bible, and then tell you what page it was on in the Seventh-day Adventist Bible, there's no exaggeration there. But during the course, now this is going back into 2001, I asked Art, because he had said that the world started, of course, with Adam and Eve, and then it moved on from there. And my question was, well, if the world started with Adam and Eve, and the Sphinx has been proven to be 12,000 years old, and Adam and Eve only occurred according to the chronological order of people, famous people in the Bible, the world is only 6,400 years old. Where did the Sphinx and the pyramid, which is also, the Sphinx goes back 29,000 years, the pyramid goes back 12,000. The Sphinx's original creation timestamp is questionable, but more probable than not. So the Sphinx can be 29,000 years old. It's been dated and proven it is that old, according to geological records. The church doesn't want you to know that, but the pyramid is certainly 12,000 years old, and that is based on where the planets were 12,000 years ago. All right, I see I'm buffering here, so let's see. I'm good. Okay, so it's buffering on my end. So the Sphinx being 29,000 years old, take it for give or take a few thousand years, the pyramid being 12,000. I made mention to that to Art Swanningson, and that's why he asked me to stay after the class. So when I was not going to attend a second class, and I was going to give them back all their religious nonsense. So I went back. I went up to the stage after the class, and I met his wife, Margaret. I think her name was Margaret. And I went back there with Pastor Dan. And in a private type of environment, I started talking about my teachings, the people that taught me about religious history of all natures. And Art said to me, Michael, you probably have more knowledge about ancient history and the Bible than he did. Okay. Now, why he said that was because I had brought my pictographs from the dollar bill that I was going to put in my book. And I showed him that, and I showed him the passages in the Bible, and I showed him the dollar bill. And within a reasonable period of time, about an hour, he looked at me and said, you probably know more about the Bible than I do, or its history. So with that, he admitted that he hadn't always been a pastor in the church. He was once an over-the-road trucker, and he knew he was a man's man in general. And he said to me, he goes, if maybe it would be helpful to the people that you come to the meetings, and you can give them an opposing point of view or a different point of view. So I did. And Art and I became good friends. Eventually, we went out for dinner many times, and eventually I had him over my house with his wife. And at that time, he had a support group of 2 or 3 people, and Pastor Dan's family. So within a few weeks, everybody knew what I believed in and why. And there was a conflict of interest the entire time. Admitted to me wholeheartedly that I was correct about when the Bible was written, who wrote the Bible, and that in theory, according to the pictures that I gave him, the pictographs in my book and the concepts in my book, in that regard, no man could have done what is in the Bible or the pictographs on the dollar bill. So he was not in disagreement. He was in total agreement, and he made no bone about that I was more aware of the history prior to the writing of the Bible and why the Bible was written. And when I explained to him about the rules in Leviticus with not eating shellfish and or bottom-dwelling fish, he agreed wholeheartedly in that. He knew that I was correct in regards to those things. So he also knew that it was hypocritical for him to teach what he was teaching without giving that piece of information. But his ability to hand out that information was not granted by the Seventh-day Adventist panel. So in other words, he knew I was correct, but he couldn't give out those pieces of information, and he allowed me to do that for him. And eventually, people came to understand that when I was speaking, they would give me the respect I deserved, and Art would not challenge my topic matter unless he thought I was absolutely wrong, but I don't ever remember him doing that. So now we're going to digress to the hypocrisy inside the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Big time, we're going to digress. Big time. We are going to out Pastor Dan of $240,000 in fraud in the bookkeeping of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Alamorada itself, that the books were kept by Dan and his wife and his daughter. Okay. And over a period between the year when I met them in the year 2000 or 2001, until I left the Florida Keys, the church closed down in 2009. But in those 8 or 9 years, the pastor Dan and his lovely wife, religious, Jesus Christ is our Savior people, they embezzled $240,000. And they did that by the following means. First of all, they were running a daycare center out of the church, and they were charging $40 a day for 32 students each day. So they were charging $1,200 a day towards the end of their daycare center days. But those children were using, yeah, that's correct, Penrose. They're all nonsense. The monies from the $1,200 a day that they were collecting were not going towards electric or water or telephone usage or supplies or food that the church was paying for. So Dan was submitting bills for foods for the congregation because they have their Sabbath on Saturday, and he was submitting monies for foods, and all of those monies were going to feed the children. And then out of the $1,200 a day, Dan was paying himself, his wife, his daughter, his daughter's husband, and his daughter's husband's sister. So, because those were the people that were teaching the children behavioral patterns and or book smarts, not just about religion, but they were teaching them school studies, because some of the students were only 3 years old. Now, I will tell you this, there was never a complaint about child molestation or pedophilia. Never did that part of the criminal charges that were eventually brought up to Dan and his wife, never was that an issue. So there was no child pedophilia, there was no child molestation within that family group of friends and or the church. But Dan was charging the church for the electric and the water that the children used. All the monies for the foods that was supposed to go to the congregation went to the children. And Dan was also charging the church a service fee for his tree service and lawn and gardening service as well. So basically, he was paying himself, his wife, his daughter's husband, and his sister. He was paying 5 payrolls a week, and he was charging the church for everything. So at the end of the day, because there wasn't 32 students a day in the beginning, it started out as just 4 or 5 students, and then they expanded the student body, and then that was when they expanded the payroll. So eventually, my number that was given me from Art Swanson, that Dan owed the church $242,000. And rather than create a scandal, what they did was they just closed down the daycare center that Dan was running and negated his monies owed to the Seventh-day Adventist Church, because it was a big scandal. So that was because Art and I remained friends until he died in 2011, I think, or maybe 12. So we maintained our conversation over the telephone and in person if he was in South Florida. He also had asked me if I wanted to go on tour in Europe, which would have meant a minimal salary, which wouldn't pay my mortgage, and I would be one of his assistants and possibly even talk, but I declined that offer. So it wasn't like Art was some slouch. He was the head of the Southern chapter of Seventh-day Adventists. So that's my first experience with hypocrisy, and in this case, criminal negligence or actual crimes were committed against the Seventh-day Adventist Church by their pastor, Pastor Dan. My next experience was in between. Now, after the class ended, after the seminars ended, I stopped going to church. I didn't go to their Saturday Sabbaths. I don't do church. I don't believe in any of that nonsense. But after that, I still maintained friends with Dan because we were both still in the tree surgeon business, and the pastor, expat at large, Ellen White had a lot of truth in her book, yeah, but she also left out a lot of information. So she had it mixed up for you to believe that nonsense. But that's what they do. They give you a little bit of truth, and then they give you a little bit of subterfuge, and that's Ellen White in summation. So my next experience, Ellen G. White. Yeah, I read that book. I read them all. I don't remember word for word, but it's there's a lot of falsehoods in all their books. There's a lot of falsehoods. I may have written the only book in history, which I posted the link for, that has nothing in the book that can be disavowed or called a lie or a misnomer. I may have written the only religious book in all of history that can't be, no one could come to my book and read my book and say this is not there or it's not true. Nobody. There's nothing in my book that is an actual fact. And even the fact that the publisher wanted to declare the book as science fiction, I said, no, it's nonfiction. And there was a big argument as to writing that book as a nonfiction book. But digressing back, my second experience with Seventh-day Adventists was my next door neighbors. Okay? My next door neighbors in 2000, somewhere around, I had my Ocean Racer at the time, so it had to be around 2002. They moved into a house next door to me. We called it the boathouse. The house was built by Pablo Escobar, the Medellin drug cartel king. And it was a father in his 50s and his wife. He had two children, two male children. One was about 30 years old and one was 23 or 24. The oldest one was married. The youngest one had a girlfriend. The oldest one was a regular looking fella, handsome guy. The youngest one was abnormally large. We're talking 6'5" and 400 plus pounds. And his girlfriend was about 4'11" and weighed about 95 pounds, and she was absolutely drop dead gorgeous. So that is 6 of the people that lived in the house. The mother and father had their mother and father, well, the wife's mother and father living in the house. So that accounted for eight people in the house. The father was the manager of the Key Largo Marine Service building where they overhaul boats and dry dock boats. The mother was the bookkeeper for that business. The eldest son worked in sales for resale boats. The youngest son, he worked on the gas dock. And his girlfriend worked in some position, I don't remember what it was, inside that business as well. The mother and father of the two boys' parents, they did not work in the business. And they were Seventh-day Adventists. And I don't remember if it was Wednesday or Thursday night, they would have as many as 25 or 30 people come over to the house. The house was huge. It was 5,000 square feet. And they would have religious studies of Seventh-day Adventists in the house. So somebody in the house was preaching, probably the father, maybe the oldest son. Somebody in the house was preaching Seventh-day Adventist philosophy. And this went on for years. Now, they had asked me if I wanted to attend because, of course, I was their neighbor. And during the day, we all had boats and we all went out on the ocean. But during the day, we would, laugh. And my dock was, my boat cut and dock were only, inches away from their boat cut and dock system. And we would talk about different things. They'd invite me to their barbecues. And there was no animosity between us. I just wasn't religious. So I'm sleeping one night and I hear sirens. And when I open up my eyes, the lights from police cars, multiple police cars, were flashing in my front window and they were reflecting off the building to my side window, the front window of my house. I couldn't see it from my bed, but the side window from my house, the lights were flashing on my ceiling. So I thought somebody had died or something like that. And so I got up and I looked outside from my bedroom window, and there were probably, 3-4 cars, police cars with their lights flashing, and several more. And to my amazement, there were police all over the property and even in my backyard, because there was only an 18-inch fence separating our yard. So I don't know why they were there, but they were there, I guess, so that they could spread out. And I went downstairs and I asked the police officer what I was doing, and he asked me if I was part of this family next door. And I said, no, this is my house and that's their house. And he said, okay. And he just told me to stand back, couldn't tell me to get off my own property. And I sat down in the cabana, my little bamboo with thatched roof cabana, and I sat down and watched this event occur. And they rounded up all the people in the house in the living room, and they arrested everybody except the grandparents of the children. So 6 of the 8 people were arrested. And what they were, these are Seventh-day Adventists. 6 of the 8 people were arrested. And then You read about it in the paper that Gus, who was the owner of the Holiday Inns all throughout the Keys and several in Miami, the Marriott hotel chain, and he was the originator. He was the discoverer, the franchise owner of Blimpies, and he was in the paper also that he was going to file charges against the entire family and for fraud. So the owner, the father, who was in charge of the management of the Key Largo Marina himself, was committing untold amounts of frauds. The wife, who was the bookkeeper, had cooked the books. The son, who was getting the fuel at the fuel dock, was pedaling back the odometer on the fuel meter somehow, because this was all manual fuel at the time, and or bypassing the meters altogether. And all of them got arrested, all except the grandparents. All of them got arrested for embezzlement of millions of dollars, millions, not hundreds of thousands, over the course from like 2003 to 2009-10, whenever that they got arrested. They embezzled millions of dollars because everything they bought was brand new. They bought brand new cars. They bought brand new boats. They put a 200 horse Yamaha on an 18-foot boat, way over power, make it a speedboat, and then they'd buy a 26-foot boat and put two 200 horse Yamahas on the back of the boat. And I just thought that they were rich, but it turns out that they were embezzling funds. So that's another Seventh-day Adventist adventure, and my personal experience with them too so far. We're gonna do about 4 of these. So the next Seventh-day Adventist person that we're going to discuss is, let's see, I don't know if I should do 3 or 4 first. Maybe I should do number 4 first, because I'm going to tell you, the one thing that I understand about Seventh-day Adventists is that they only follow the rules when it benefits them. They don't follow any rules when it's not benefiting them. And in that regard, they have rules in the Bible that say, well, hold people harmless. Okay, don't go around criticizing other people. Those who cast the first stone should be without sin, that kind of thing. Well, Daisy and I want to talk about Daisy Mae. By the way, Daisy Mae is doing well. In fact, if I could show you my Skype, I would show you a video that she sent me from the house that her and her friend Chris built that dates back several months, but it shows them actually putting the framework up for the roof and the both of them up on top of a horse. So, and Daisy and I spoke yesterday morning. She's in the city right now, in the city of Davao. She's buying me a leather belt with embroidery, because I lost mine at the airport coming to the Philippines. Someone took it out of my box, or I dropped it on the floor and they didn't pick it up. But so the belt I wanted from the embroidery shop that originally built the belt, that shop is gone. Daisy found another company that makes leather belts, custom leather belts. This one is going to have a nice stainless steel belt buckle with the roll, where the belt goes through like a little roller. So the belt moves back and forth under duress, because a belt on my waistline is under duress. Okay, so she's going. The belt that she found, my original belt I paid 600 or 650 pesos, but that was exactly 4 years ago. So the new price for the belt was $60 or 3,000 pesos. But she was kind enough to go find the leather shop, give them a deposit on Monday of this week, or Tuesday. Today's Friday. Okay, so it's probably Tuesday of this week. She went and gave them a deposit and told me that I needed in 3,000 pesos. She's paying for part of the belt, apparently. And I sent her that money yesterday. I will show you the money I sent yesterday. I will not show you how full. I need to put a light on here. So, wow, they raised the amount of money to send. Wow. Can I show you all of this? I think I can. Anywhere in the Philippines, Daisy Mae. Okay, I won't show you her full name. Okay, so I'm going to just put my finger. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just put a piece of tape over her name. Well, I know that people were making fun that, oh, she's not buying him a belt. Well, yeah, she is. And, okay, so I'm going to put a piece of tape over this part. And I'm going to put okay, so here is I'm going to put a piece of tape over the last three numbers of that thing there, like that. Okay, so over here, let me get a pen. This way, for the detractors on my channel that say I don't, and then eventually the belt will be here, of course. So for the detractors, I circled the top number is the date. And then my name has an X on both sides. And okay, so here is, I'm going to have to go to my channel, but here is the receipt. For those of you who wonder if I tell you the truth about Daisy Mae. So in the top corner there, is the date 12/11. I hope you can see that. 12/11. And then on the bottom is the total amount of 3,000 pesos. And with the charge to send 3,000 pesos is 50 pesos. That's 3,050. And of course, Daisy's name, which is right here. Well, it's hard for me to see if you can see that, but it's there. Daisy Mae. Why is it so difficult for this thing? This thing is such a piece of junk, this camera. Anyway, so Daisy's picking up a 3,000 plus peso belt for me. So the price went from, I paid 650 to over 3,000 pesos, but she's kind enough to go get the belt because she knows I like that belt a lot, and I need a belt because my pants keep falling down, and not only do my pants keep falling down, but I need a good strong belt because I've gone through two other belts that were not so heavy duty. They snap under pressure. Mad Max Risen, welcome to the machine. Hello, Mad Max. The two belts I had within the last few months, they snapped. They couldn't take the strain. I put them under duress and they failed during the duress test. So let's talk about the bloggers. We're not going to mention any names, but they have a channel. And they were posting on another channel that I talked about last week. And they were posting, this is what I mean about the hypocrisy. It's a husband and wife routine. And it's a routine because it's a fraud for a front. Okay, it's a front for a fraud. They have nothing to do with religious and adhering to the Seventh-day Adventist tenets of the Seventh-day Adventist. Because Jesus has all kinds of rules about talking smack about other people. Now, I'm not going to follow those rules, by the way. I don't believe in any of that garbage, but neither do they. But I don't go around professing to be a Seventh-day Adventist, okay? But they do. So they were on this big man's channel the other day, and they segued into the conversation from a fella. There were 5 major trolls on this big guy's channel, and he allows that to go on his channel, and he thrives on the trolls coming to his channel for views, okay, and possible income. But for me, I'm going to say Daisy never did anything to this big guy, never did anything to him, and he never did anything to this husband and wife routine that professed to be Seventh-day Adventists. He never did anything to them at all. Now, I sent that video and link to a couple of people, and they agreed that this was uncalled for. And it was uncalled for, but I don't need their agreement. It just happens to be that the truth hurts. So what they did was they segued into making nasty comments about Daisy Mae from the trolls. And then they said, oh, now after 4 months, oh, Michael and Daisy are no longer together. We didn't know that. LOL, making like fun. And then they made comments about Daisy Mae's boyfriend. And whoa, so she's not with Fazio anymore. LOL, lots of LOLs. And then those comments are still up on the page, but other more derogatory comments about Daisy Mae were made by a troll account who uses the picture of a woman and professes to be a man when he's really a Filipino national, and he's degrading other Filipino nationals by making these derogatory comments, which, by the way, as the show progressed, I copied all the comments. So I have these comments that were removed, and I have the comments that were left up. So not that I need them, but I did happen to just be at that show at that time watching that show. So these so-called Seventh-day Adventists are nothing more than, in fact, sanctimonious hypocrites. Now, I'll tell you why. Okay, the reason is because for 3 years, these people came to my channel and said hello to Miss Daisy Mae and myself. They always said hello, and typically they leave a 250 peso donation, and I would give that channel a shout out. And their channel is a very blasé channel, in my opinion, has no content that I would watch. I certainly wouldn't watch one of their 2-hour live streams where they're trying to sell hotel rooms in the city that they're going to have some kind of convention. I would not watch that nonsense. I listened to that for about, hey, how you doing? You're going to come? Yeah, we can recommend this hotel. And I'm not going to devout to any YouTube meetup. I don't want to have a multiple YouTube meetup. I had a great meetup this week with 222 Fox 1, another tree surgeon, by the way. And that was enough for me for a couple of weeks or a couple of months. But anyway, here's what this husband and wife did to Miss Daisy Mae. So, of course, we all know who's the world's biggest troll, who has a Mrs. preface and a picture of a woman when professes to be a man. The world's greatest troll Yep, that's what this belt is, Scott. It's 2+ inches wide. The one I had, it just barely fit into most belt buckles and was 1/8 of an inch. And I'm going to tell you something else about the belt I had. I went swimming with it every day for 2 years. That was the belt I used on my pants and to hold my gear. And even though it was leather and I washed it off in fresh water, it never deteriorated. So it was a good quality leather. So these religious fervor flakes or religious sanctimonious hypocrites, let's just call them sanctimonious hypocrites. So we have the world's greatest troll calling Miss Daisy a cream pie, a hooker, underage, pock girl, we have him calling her all those names. And we have another guy named Ken, another guy whose first name starts with Rain, laughing and admonishing and further encouraging the world's greatest troll to say these things. And then we'd have the husband and wife routine of the sanctimonious Seventh-day Adventists giggling and laughing and even making comments that were then removed immediately. So they would make a nasty comment about Daisy so that they would gain confidence of the trolls on the big guy's channel, and the big guy with no content, in my opinion. They would gain confidence by stating some derogatory comment about Miss Daisy Mae, and then they would delete it immediately thereafter, or someone other would then themselves would delete it. But those comments were posted and then deleted, as was the world's greatest troll. But I saw them. Some I have copied, some I don't, because I couldn't, I don't pay 100% attention to what that big guy is talking about, because personally, the thought of that man allowing these people to make these comments on his channel is sickening. That's just uncalled for. Daisy Mae never did anything to anybody, anywhere, at any time since the day I met her. She never did anything to me. Steve 25901 did defend Miss Daisy Mae on Flying Circus, and Steve is here. He knows who I'm talking about. Welcome to the machine, Steve. Thank you for stopping by. And thank you for the compliment to Miss Daisy Mae on Flying Circus channel, because Flying Circus posted a video about why attack the innocent and had a picture of Miss Daisy Mae on the thumbnail. See, because these people are attacking a woman who's done nothing to them. So this is where this religious sanctimonious hypocrite stuff starts and stops. But it doesn't stop. They're sanctimonious hypocrites because in their live stream that I watched after the big guy show, they talked about how they worship all of Saturday because that's the Sabbath. And they worship on Friday too because it's part of the Sabbath. And how the teachings of Jesus Christ are so important to them. But when they go to the big guy's channel, it's okay to attack an innocent Filipina, even though this guy's wife is Filipino. It's okay to attack Miss Daisy Mae for two reasons. One, they gain subscribers, mostly garbage subscribers in my opinion, and they gain FaceTime on the big guy show, who needs to, I asked him to throttle it down with allowing these trolls to go on his channel. Basically, his entire channel just revolves around trolls. It doesn't revolve around anything else. It doesn't revolve around any content about the Philippines. It doesn't revolve around a single video that he made in the Philippines. It doesn't revolve around any video of any business that he had in the Philippines. It doesn't revolve around any family members and or videos he had in the Philippines years ago. It doesn't revolve around anything but allowing trolls to condemn and ridicule innocent people. Now, am I an innocent person in this? Probably not. Probably I am. Depends on your point of view. I defended an innocent woman. Everybody knows that's the right thing to do, both morally and legally. And there are going to be legal ramifications about people that have misplaced the actual person, Miss Daisy Mae, in a defamatory manner. So we'll move to that. That'll be a topic for another day. But what I'm trying to get across right now, these religious fervents, I think they call it a fervent, might be the right word, these religious zealots, whatever they are, these religious hypocrites think it's perfectly okay to defame Miss Daisy Mae when she never did anything to them. And for 3.5 years, when Daisy and I were together, they always came on my channel and said, "Hello, Miss Daisy Mae, how are you today?" when we did live streams. And Daisy would always reply in a kind and in kind as, properly as she should and in a friendly manner. And now, a few months later, all of a sudden, it becomes their main objective to defame Miss Daisy Mae. So I'm going to tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, listen very carefully. I'm not going to allow that to happen. Daisy doesn't deserve it, and I'm in a position to slow it down, at least. I can't stop it, but I am slowing it down. If I need take your channel off of YouTube, I can do that. Okay, make no mistake about it. I have the ability to do that. At this point, I can do that. So you guys keep it up and knock yourself out, because I'm telling you that she doesn't deserve to be ridiculed, maligned, or defamed. And you people that have done so in the past, you're walking on thin ice. Of course, I'm going to have some kind of rebuttaling all you want. One way or another, you're going to stop making derogatory comments, and you're going to stop the trolls from making derogatory comments on your channel. Whatever needs to be done can be done on any given day. You just think that I'm joking about that, but I'm not. Okay, so I'm going to read the comments. I'll let you think about that for a few minutes. All right, so Scott Del Fuego, we're up on the wordsmith that is here, who by the way loves Miss Daisy Mae, and Miss Daisy Mae loves the few people that we have become a close group friends with. So Scott says they are real morons. They don't know the actual circumstances of the situation, but feel compelled to prove their ignorance, pretending they do. Michael has impressed me with his class and integrity. Thank you, Scott. Well, we just came to an agreement between us, and we kept our agreements. And that's all I'll ever say about that. And I have no animosity towards Miss Daisy, and she has none towards me. And we talk on a regular basis. Okay, so and we're still good friends. With wherever I'm going in my life and wherever she's going, there is no angst or anger or animosity between us. Mad Max Risen, I got a belt in Cebu off a security guard. Filipinos somehow took my belt, and this nice security guard gave me his. Gave him some money, one way to get a belt. All right. Well, yeah, they may, I never thought about going to a police. I never thought about going to a police supplies place. They probably have a good leather quality belt there. Either way, this one has embroidery on it, just like the last one. So that's what I really wanted. So welcome to the machine. Steve 25901 says Scott Del Fuego. So welcome to the machine. Steve 25901 reply, hello, Scott. Old Spice Guy. It is me, Mercury 3. Welcome to the machine, Mercury 3. New name, Old Spice Guy. A lot of people are changing their venues on YouTube. If you notice, I even toned this video down a little bit, not because of any particular reason. I actually have, I just think that I'm going to get more results by not calling somebody a pile of cellulite, by not saying that you're a POS, sanctimonious hypocrite. I think I'm going to get more results like that. So we'll see what happens, because I have been doing a series on Alona Beach, and they're all upbeat videos. So I'm going to try to keep this upbeat as well, and not even go anywhere near new guidelines, regulations. But even in the old ones, I don't think I've ever broken any of their rules, so to speak. So expat at large. Nobody is bigger than Chewbacca the legend. Thank you. Yeah, both physically, he's talking about size-wise, the fact that I look like a beach ball from a certain angle, and my mental acuity. Thank you very much, expat prepper. Kababayan, Mr. Willis says, Kabayan means countryman in Filipino. So yeah, that particular troll is a Kababayan, and he is demeaning his own countrymen. And although he lives in California, he is in fact, when you see this troll, everybody knows who I'm talking about. You should understand that this troll responded to Pinoy Troll's comments in Tagalog. Pinoy Troll spoke Tagalog to this troll, and the troll responded in perfect Tagalog dialect for all 200 characters of the comment, and he made 6 individual responses to Pinoy Troll's verbiage on his video. And then after the show, I spoke with Pinoy Troll, and I said, well, what that language that he spoke in Pinoy explained to me that not only was the language that the world's greatest troll spoke in the comments section, not only was it Tagalog, but it was Tagalog with the proper dialect and or syntax and or accents in the language. So now that you understand that the world's greatest troll, who is now demeaning both Filipino and American and English and Australian people, now that you understand that his country of origin and birth is Filipino, now maybe you can understand something more about him. I don't know why he does that. He believes it to be fun. I don't find it to be fun. I think it's a little bit disgusting. I think that he hides behind his computer for a very, very good reason. I'm pretty sure that I'm correct about that. I won't tell you what the reason is, but I know that there was no way on earth he would ever walk around the Philippines with a shirt that I am so-and-so. No way he would do that. But I walk around the Philippines with my name on the back of my shirt. I walk around the Philippines and hand out business cards. I walk around the Philippines and say, my name is Michael Fazio. I make videos on YouTube. Do you want to be in one? And everybody says yes, pretty much. But that guy, no, he wouldn't do that. And neither would the other guy. The other guy is scared to death about walking around and letting people know where he is before he gets there. He always tells everybody where he is after he leaves, but he never tells anybody where he's going to be. Like last week, I said in my live stream, I made it clear I'm going to be in front of McDonald's at 10 o'clock in the morning to meet a subscriber. Anybody could have showed up, but I don't care. I didn't get it. I'm never going to care. Anybody else could have showed up that wanted to go on the adventure that I took 222 Fox 1 on, and his girlfriend, I won't mention her name. Anybody could have come and met us there. It was an open invitation. I made a public place at 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and that's where we met. Could have been anybody that wanted to be there could have been there. And no one, only just him and his girlfriend showed up. But there are a lot of people that just don't have what it takes to do what I did, and I don't back down. I'm not afraid of posting where I'm going to be publicly. I put my name on the back of my shirt. All right, let's see if this one has it. Yeah. This one is Dex and Box. I'm gonna get a bottle of water. I'll be back in less than 30 seconds. I'll look for another shirt. Bye. Yeah. This one, that one said Dex and Docs, but this one says Michael Fazio. So if I was afraid to post my name or my picture, Do you think I would put my name on the back of the shirt? The answer to that question is, of course, no. I would be afraid to put my name on the shirt. But in fact, I'm not afraid of putting my name on the shirt or telling people where I'm going to be when I'm there. And the reason for that is because coward is not in my vocabulary unless I'm talking about someone else. So, in regards to being a literal coward and posting things on YouTube that you not only will not back up, but can't back up. That word has nothing to do with me whatsoever. Now, even a week ago, I challenged a man to a game of like it's a children's game where you put your hand like this, and then another man puts his hands to his side or behind his back, and then you smack the other man's hands like that, But if the man moves his hand down and you miss, well, then you get a free smack. So he has to hold his hand there. You get a smack. You can smack it, a free shot. But now, if you smack his hand, then of course it's his turn. You get to go again. You get to go again. But if he moves his hand downward like this, and you miss his hand, then you have to hold your hand out in a prone position out, and then he gets to smack your hand like that. Okay, and then the first person that misses 100 times, or the first person to miss 100 times, they lose the game. Now, I challenged a particular blogger or any blogger to a game of hands. It's a child's game. Everybody plays it in school. And his response was, but he didn't want to play hands. That's one thing he didn't want to do, was play game of hands. Because now imagine missing somebody else's hand 100 times. It's a little embarrassing. Plus, there would be witnesses to the embarrassment of missing 100 times, because that would mean that your physical reflexes were lacking. Let's say lacking. Let's use the word lacking. Your physical reflexes would be lacking. So a game of hands, a nice, friendly game of hands that children play all the time, would be something that might be an embarrassment to someone who had lacking motor skills, and or a very low self-esteem, where he would be embarrassed to miss my hands 100 times. That would be, so all I heard from that friendly gesture to have a nice friendly game of hands was blah 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 blah. I'm gonna do this and blah blah. I'm gonna do that and blah 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 blah. But my offer to play a nice friendly game of hands was apparently declined. Go figure. Either embarrassment to lose, not having the confidence to win, or just poor motor skills would have been exemplified depending on whether or not he missed 100 times to my missing 2 or 3 times, or he missed 100 times to my missing 20 times. So, which would mean my reflexes are 5 times better than his reflexes. It'd be embarrassing. It would be embarrassing. But I could assure you, at any time during the course of the game, if you feel embarrassed, you can quit and just forfeit the win. So you don't have to play the whole game of hands. You can quit at any time. But when I made the offer to have a nice friendly game of hands, just a nice, look, I put my hand here, you put your hand here, this is you, right? And I am standing to the side with my hands to the side or behind my back, and I hit your hand. Okay, I hit your hand. All right, so then I get to go again. And the next time I hit your hand, I get to go again. But now, let's say the third time you move your hand and I miss. Well, now it's your turn to smack my hand like this. Boom. And you smack my hand and you hit it. Okay, so but when I missed, that's one miss. So the first person to miss 100 times loses. Or if you want to quit early, if you lack motor skills and know where the game is going, or if you can't take the embarrassment, what can I say? What can I say? I mean, it's just a friendly game of hand. All children play it. I spoke with 2 bloggers this morning. No, excuse me. I spoke with one very famous blogger this morning. They played hands when they were children. And I spoke with 222 Fox 1 from England, who I spent the last 2 of the last 3 days with. He played it. He played it in school. All my friends played it. We all played it as children. So it's a common game in school. But it is embarrassing when you start missing. And sometimes that people get really nervous and this, that, and the other thing, and they lose focus because they have bad motor skills and hand-eye coordination. Let's say they have bad hand-eye coordination and they get nervous and they quit. They could quit. I mean, that quitting is an option when you're playing a good game of hands. Quitting is always an option. So anyway, all I wanted to do was reach out and touch his hands in a way that he would remember, or I would remember. I would always remember when to touch somebody. I mean, a game of hands is a very, 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 intense thing where you are putting your motor skills up against someone else's motor skills, but there's no actual threat to the other person. It's like a gentleman's game, like a gentleman's game where you don't play for any money or anything like that. You just play for bragging rights. And of course, whoever wins gets those bragging rights. So, okay, so Old Spice, oh my God, the Old Spice guy. Oh, Mercury. Wow. You see what religious sanctimonious hypocrites will do? They will come on and block you from telling the truth. So, so let's get you a wrench, Old Spice, because I forgot, you always have a wrench on my channel. Add as a moderator. Okay, so Old Spice, sorry about that. I didn't realize that earlier. So Old Spice says, a person named Tom blocked me from telling the truth on another channel. He has the power of the wrench. So that's where this religious sanctimonious hypocrite stuff comes in. And moralistically, okay, I would say that if Daisy was a mean, malicious person to anybody, even just one time, well, then, fair play. But Daisy never did that. Whereas I have been accused of being somewhat, what's a good word? Somewhat, I don't know what a good word is. So I'm just as upset, somewhat aggressive. Let's say aggressively. I'm not opposed to people tit for tat on YouTube. I'm not opposed to that. But these sanctimonious hypocrites, they went and removed their negatory comments. Negatory is not an English word, by the way, but they went and removed their negative comments. They even removed some of their LOLs to the other people's comments. Why did they do that? If they believe in the teachings of Jesus Christ and what's just, why did they remove their comments? Why did they say their comments at all? In fact, why didn't they defend Miss Daisy Mae when they could have? Why? Because they're cowards. Why? Because they wanted favor with trolls. And that, the fact that they didn't stand up and say, this is wrong, stop it, like Old Spice did, that's wrong, in my opinion. So what they should have done, as soon as they saw the trolls go, whoa, wait, time out, this is wrong. So apparently Old Spice did that, and a person named Tom blocked Old Spice from commenting further and telling the truth. See, that religious hypocrite stuff, it comes in handy sometimes when you're trying to gain the confidence of trolls to get a few more subscribers, a few more views, a few more pennies out of Google. And then what you'll do is you'll block the truth, just like the Catholic Church blocks the truth about the true nature of the Bible and or God. Okay, so let me put my glasses on. Let me get some water. Hold on. Here's my water. Here's water right here. There's not enough water in there, though. I do have another bottle. I started early this morning drinking water. Really early. I got up early. I had a lot of problems with my computer this morning. Couldn't get it started. Then what I did was I had to install updates. And then I installed 6 updates, and I shut the computer down, and it took 33 minutes to update the computer. And when I started the computer again, it told me that I had a new update. Please reinstall the update and start the computer again. So had I not got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, it would be like, I would have been an hour. It gave me the updates, the important updates to install. I installed them. I restarted the computer. That took 32 minutes. Then I started the computer, and it gave me another update that said it was an important update, and I started the computer, and that took about 20 minutes, but it killed an hour of my time this morning. So, yeah, Penrose, you can probably find a Filipino anywhere in the world doing. A lot of them are missionaries, and they do the work of the Catholic Church. So yeah, you're probably right about that, Penrose. Thank you for that piece of information. I know that, I won't tell you who, but one of my family members had 2 Filipinos working under him, and he said that they were much better workers than the American workers working in the same field, and that he would work with the Filipinos over the Americans at all times. So they kind of arranged their schedules to all work together. But yeah, some Filipinos are excellent workers, and and for the most part, they're much better people than a lot of other nationalities. I'll put it like that. So Scott Del Fuego says, Old Spice Guy, a.k.a. Mercury 3. And Mercury is saying, hello, Scott. Scott Del Fuego with a huge super chat. Thank you, Scott. Salamat from Michael Fazio and Daisy Mae. So we will sing thank you, thank you, thank you, Thank you very much, Scott Del Fuego, from Michael Fazio and Daisy Mae. Okay, salamat, Scott. So, thank you very much, Scott. Old Flying Circus is here. Old Spice guy is the Mercury 3. And he now has a wrench because he has been a friend of ours. And I say ours, we have a select group of friends. I am upset. Old Spice guy says, I am upset at many dozers. Dozers. I'm not sure what a dozer is. Mitch, Scoot B, yeah. I saw those comments, etc. Old Spice guy is also upset with Tom and Ruth from Tom and Ruth in the Philippines. I do believe that Old Spice guy is saying that Tom and Ruth in the Philippines has a wrench on the big guy's channel, and that they blocked him, even though I'm going to tell you, I'm going to add this piece of information to the Tom and Ruth dichotomy, is that Tom and Ruth and myself and Daisy and Mercury 3 and his Filipino wife, we've all been friends for years. And yet, when the Old Spice guy, a.k.a. Mercury 3, tried to express his opinion, Tom of Tom and Ruth, Philippines, blocked the truth from being expressed. And that's what religious and or sanctimonious hypocrites do best. They either, what they really do best, I'm going to tell you what they really do best, is they become your friend. There's all sanctimonious hypocrites, especially my uncle, Seaman Fazio. Okay, my uncle Seaman Fazio was, of course, a seaman. Is a seaman. Once a seaman, always a seaman. And he would become your friend and find out every little flaw that you ever had in your past. And then he would talk behind your back so that everybody would come to him for the chismas, or the chismas he would do. And then he would hold the Bible in his left hand or put it on the dashboard of his car, and he would always preaching about God. He never missed a Sunday Mass if he wasn't working for the New York City Fire Department. Never missed it. But my uncle Seaman Fazio, he would not sit in the front row, or he wouldn't even sit down. Where he stood is he would walk in towards the end of the people walking into the church, and he would stand only. He would never sit. He would stand at the back of the church, the door where the people entered, so that everybody would see him standing there with his Bible. And then when they read passages from the Bible, my uncle Seaman Fazio, he had a very deep voice. He was a big man. And he would sing or talk the words louder than anybody else in the area, so everybody would look at him and know that he was a God-fearing person. But of course, he was, not just in my opinion, but in all the entire family's opinion, he was a sanctimonious hypocrite. Because here's the key now. He was mad at God. Yeah, he was mad at God. He was going to get even with God. He was going to go to church every week for his entire life, but he would never receive communion because he was mad at God. And why was he mad at God? Well, he was mad at God because God only gave him daughters and not sons. And then he became even more mad at God when they adopted a son from an adoption agency, whose mother was an alcoholic and a drug addict, and turned out that the child had a lot of physical problems, and he was just mad at the world and stayed mad at the world for his entire life. He has never received communion, but he never misses a church ceremony. Never went up to communion, doesn't receive communion on Christmas or Easter. He does go to confession to confess his sins, which are many. But once he confesses his sins, he has a clean slate to do it again. So my Uncle Seaman Fazio was a very sanctimonious hypocrite, the most that I've ever seen, because he would, of course, he was an excellent carpenter, an excellent plumber, an excellent electrician, excellent kitchen cabinet installer and or a repairman. And bathroom tile, he taught me all my tile, how to lay out tiles, center ceiling tiles, center floor tiles, center wall tiles. You think it's easy to lay tile? Not, especially if you have an oddball shaped room and you have things that you don't want a tile. You want to have the holes for your shower faucets in the middle of the tile if you can. And you want to have a full tile around the edge of the bathtub, and you want to have a full tile at the top. And if you don't have a full tile at the top and a full tile at the bottom, and the holes for your shower body aren't correct because someone put the shower body at the wrong height, then you have to compensate with a half a tile or a third of a tile at the top and 2/3 of a tile at the bottom. And then you still have to compensate for your that's where you start when you're doing your shower body wall. And then you got to get down to the floor. So you want to have a full tile around the tub. And usually it'll work out for a full tile around the floor as well, because the tubs are made at 4.25 inch increments. So, but he taught me a lot, but he also taught me about being a sanctimonious hypocrite. And of course, that's why we call him Uncle Seaman, because he never left the Navy, so to speak. But far be it from me to criticize Uncle Seaman for being a sanctimonious hypocrite. So anyway, he would become your friend, find out every flaw and every fault, and as soon as you crossed him, he would backstab you behind your back, talk about stuff, everything he ever knew, and make some stuff up too. He was really good at that, because he went to church every Sunday. And then he became friends with the people at the church to get their bathroom and kitchen jobs. And then he would give them a price, and then he would rate them on the extras. And it was all cash, because he was a fireman for New York City, and he made a ton of money raping his friends in the construction industry. Oh my God. Scott, wait a second. We got to go back there. Scott Del Fuego, this is a good one. For the leather belt. Okay, let me see what that is. Okay, it's a double ply leather belt, 30 to 54 inches, which is what I need, 54. And that'll give me a few inches of tongue. Although a year ago I would have had to make a new hole at 54 inches. So it's reduced from $55, which is what a good. And you see that loop there, Scott, on the belt buckle itself? Okay, you see that loop right there, that metal collet around the belt? That's what I wanted on my belt. And that makes it easy to put the belt on, roll it up to the notch. So that's what Daisy specifically went and looked for. So yeah, that's a good belt. So that's what Daisy did, but that's a double-layered leather belt, which is a good one. And mine, I don't know if it'll be double-layered, but it will have a crisscross embroidery throughout the belt as it's a slightly stretching mechanism, but it also gives it depth, and it's a good quality belt. Thanks for the link. Mitch Bromwell. you were mentioned. I'm not sure that it was in a good way. Slim Jim did defend Daisy Mae also. Thank you very much, Slim Jim. On the Flying Circus channel, Slim Jim defended Miss Daisy Mae. Okay, so I'm back up. Canoy in the Philippines was here. I missed this comment. I had to go back up. It shot down pretty far. All right, thank you very much, Canoy in the Philippines, for also acknowledging that people should not have maligned Miss Daisy Mae. Scott said goodbye, Canoy. Slim Jim said see you, Canoy. Later, Canoy. Don F. Oh, yeah, I'm an outspoken and unapologetic, non-religious person. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. In fact, that was one of the things that Daisy Mae and I agreed on, the fact that there was going to be a party. Yep. Yeah, that's no problem. You don't have to be religious to find a woman. Even if you are religious, not religious, and you find a religious woman, one of my neighbor's wife goes to church 3 times a week, and he'll have none of it. They get along just fine. Flying Circus, baby. Here we go. Says we played a slightly different version of the game. And of course, Flying Circus. Flying Circus. There are multiple versions of the game, Flying Circus. I played a version that I can't even talk about. But I do know that there are different versions. Will Shaw, ha, 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 hold the check till Sunday, kinda. I don't know what I said at that part of the video, but thank you, Will Shaw, for stopping. Welcome to the machine. Slim Jim, agnostic. I don't know what I said at that part of the video. Sorry, Slim Jim. So we were back up to the Old Spice guy. I'll start at that comment, who is actually Mercury 3. And he said Tom and Ruth blocked him, old Mercury 3, from posting the truth on another channel. They encourage doxing. Oh my God, this is a different comment. So Mercury 3, the Old Spice guy. And so if you're here, kindly subscribe to the Old Spice guy, because I guess he's starting a backup channel. Tom and Ruth, the Old Spice guy, states, blocked him from posting the truth on another channel. They allow and encourage doxing, delivery of unwanted mail. Oh my God. See, I didn't know about that, about Tom and Ruth. I did know they were Seventh-day Adventists, and I do believe that they don't follow the rules. I do believe that. And in fact, I don't think that I do believe that all Seventh-day Adventists that I spoke about in this video presentation, I believe they are all the Seventh-day Adventists that I spoke about, including Mr. Tom and Miss Ruth. I believe that all of these people have shown signs of religious hypocrisy. And not only do I believe it, but in my case, against Miss Daisy Mae, I saw it happen. So I even recorded not just the comments, but their comments before they removed their derogatory comments. So now Old Spice guys saying that Tom and Ruth blocked me from posting the truth on another channel. They allow and encourage doxing, delivery of unwanted mail. Yeah, they were collecting mail for their current YouTube gala that they have running. So they were collecting people's mail. I would imagine that they are spamming, but I don't know that to be a fact. The trolls tried to thumbs down and can't even do that right. Okay, so, oh yeah, they did. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. We have 27 thumbs down, baby. I don't care. You people, and who are the trolls? The trolls are people that follow the big guy's channel. The other fella in Cebu, his trolls are here because I outed his trolls for what and who they were. Another set of trolls may very well be the people that follow Tom and Ruth, because they did not like what I had to say about Seventh-day Adventists last week. They did not like what I had to say about the Seventh-day Adventists last week at all. The Seventh-day Adventists, not Seventh-day Adventists, the Seventh-day Adventists. Well, we have a $10 super chat. We're going to sing. We are going to sing. You know how I like to sing. I can't sing, but let's see who this is from. Old Spice Guy. Old Spice Guy, who is Mercury 3, who was shuttered, according to the Old Spice Guy. He was shut down on the big guy's channel, or somebody else's channel. He was shut down by Tom and Ruth. The comment he just made on my page, he was shut down from exposing the truth about Seventh-day Adventists or the Seventh-day Adventists. So thank you, Mercury, and thank you, Old Spice Guy. Again, if you are here, why don't you subscribe to the Old Spice Guy channel, because he is probably going to be let's just call it a backup channel for Mercury 3. Everybody knows who Mercury 3 is, so please, if I'm going to go there in a minute. But first I'm going to sing, because I like to sing, baby. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mercury 3 and Old Spice Guy, from Michael Fazio and Daisy Mae, who's out right now shopping. Well, actually, today she picks the belt up. Now, I don't know if I got... Yeah, here we go. Here we go. We got a message right here. Wow, look at this. Good morning, Michael. I already sent your package. Maybe it will arrive. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to open it up and I'll show it to you. I will not show you her YouTube account name, though. I won't do that. Yeah, Daisy Mae already picked up the belt and sent it out. All right. One thing I need to do is close off some names right here. All right. So I need to find something a little bigger to shut off the names. I don't want you people to know who I'm friends on Skype with. Okay. So the comment is, good morning, Michael. I already sent you a package. Maybe it will arrive on Saturday or Monday. I'm being permy. So, all right. So let's open this up right here. I got to do this slow. I'm going to lower this down slow. Hold on a minute, please. All right. Well, I don't know what you can see. All right. But maybe if I put it like this. All right. All right. You might be able to see it if I do this. And we're gonna we are thanking you. So I changed the position of the tablet just want you guys to know that we say something, it is in fact the truth. All right, there we go. Okay, so that's what it says. It says, "Good morning, Michael. I already sent your package. It will arrive on Saturday or Monday. Umping Permy." So just to let you know that if I say something, it is in fact the truth. Then I could take a picture of that and use it as my next thumbnail, which is not a. Oh my God! I'm going to have to sing again. And this is from the most. I'm going to tell you something about this man, Mitch Bromwell. He is a generous individual. So Old Spice Guy has something to say about Tom and Ruth. I am here. Be jealous, Tom. Yes. And you what Tom and Ruth should be jealous of, in my opinion, is that you, Mercury 3 Old Spice Guy, are an honest man. And I don't think Tom can lay claim to anything like that, any kind of spiritual or moral turpitude, any kind of evaluation as to whether or not Tom and Ruth of are honorable. No, I don't think honorable is a word I would use with Tom and Ruth channel. No, I don't think honorable would be one of them. I don't think stand up would be a word. No, I wouldn't use the word stand up. I think sanctimonious when it comes to religious fervor. I think that would be a good word to discuss with the association with Tom and Ruth, because they have shown me the maligning of Miss Daisy Mae. They have shown me the derogatory comments that not only did they laugh at, but they added to on the Big Guys channel. Yeah, I don't think that there is anything good I will ever be able to say about Tom and Ruth. Even a full-on apology, no, that's not going to cut it. I have given them every benefit of the doubt since the day I met them, and now we are at diametrically opposed opinions as to what is correct and what is not correct. So thank you, Mercury 3. But look at this. Look at this. This is an amazing, the amazing Mitch Bromwell. Now, why is he amazing? Let me tell you about Mitch Bromwell. Okay. Okay, so Mitch Bromwell says, I am praying for Old Spice Guy and Mercury 3. You here without sin can start casting the first stones. I am a sinner, and I know it. I know if you lie, you fire. LOL. You end up in fire and brimstone. And God bless everyone. Okay, so, but let me tell you why Mitch Bromwell is a great man. Okay, so, and I'm not kidding about there is no exaggeration in my next comment. Okay, I am only an experimental pilot, and also I have about 30 hours on a Cherokee Warrior 2 and a Cessna 175. The Warrior 2 is a four-seater with low wing, and the Cessna was a high wing. I learned on a low-wing aircraft because my instructor thought it was best to learn on a low-wing aircraft because you can't see where you're landing. So you have to come in, you have to have confidence in your skills. So Mitch Bromwell. So then I understand a little bit about pilots because most of my teachers in aviation high school were pilots or mechanics, jet mechanics. Many were pilots. So I have the greatest respect for pilots. But when you become an experimental pilot for the Air Force or Navy, when you become a person that sits in an untested aircraft and you're going to do maneuvers, then that's really cool. And I would be, the one thing that I think I should have done was go to college after high school and have become a pilot. And I would have made a good pilot. But I didn't want to sign up into the Air Force for 12 years. I thought that was an eternity. That would be one of my only regrets. But digressing past that. And I graduated 17 out of 500 students in aviation high school in the vocational section of the school. I was among the best. There were better grades. I doubt that anybody had the skill sets I had. There were better grades all for the 4 years on average. Those guys, all they did was the teachers' buttocks, and they studied. I would just listen to the teacher and read the book once, and I was pulling 90, 94s, 96s. These guys were studying day and night because I had more background in the field of mechanics than they did because of my family being mechanical. But anyway, I graduated 17 out of 550 students. But Mitch Bromwell, he takes that to another level. So if you're not subscribed to Mitch Bromwell's channel, you should. Okay, you really need to subscribe, and I'll tell you why. So after you become an experimental pilot for experimental aircraft, and after you have several thousand hours of jet flight service, whether it's a refueler or a fighter jet or even a training jet, okay, you are among the top 2% of the people in the world with hand-eye coordination and mental attributes. And then what happens after that? Well, there's only one place to go from there, and that's to become an astronaut. Now, astronauts are the top, Mitch can answer this better than me, they might be the top 1% of the top 2%, which are pilots. So what we're talking about is if 1,000 people, pilots, apply to be an astronaut, maybe one, and they have to have those qualifications. So 1,000 people with the qualifications apply to be an astronaut, maybe one is accepted into the astronaut training program. And Mitch can answer that question better than me. But now, where does it go? Once you become an astronaut in the training program, then you need people to train you. Okay? And Mitch Bromwell is that man who helps you understand how to be. So Mitch Bromwell is a great man in that he trains the greatest of the best of the greatest of the best to be the best that they can be. Okay, now, in my opinion, with my aviation background and skill sets in general, teaching the astronauts, which is the top 1% of the top 2%, to be better astronauts, I don't think, as far as teaching skills and abilities goes, I don't think that anything surpasses that. Now, on Bromwell's channel, you will also have the ability to see launches from his room at Cape Canaveral. And you got to understand now, a launch from Cape Canaveral, typically you're several miles away from the launch site. So it's not like you're going to be standing there and feel the fire, the flames. But you're going to see launches from his personal abode at Kennedy, at the Cape Canaveral. And you also, like 2 weeks ago, we had a really, really cool video. I mean, who the heck is ever going to get to see a capsule, a re-entry capsule from about 40 feet away on a video? Who's going to ever post anything like that? First of all, you have to get into NASA, and you have to get into Cape Canaveral. You have to have the qualifications to get on the island, because it is an island. And you have to have clearance to make a video, an actual capsule. Because even though other countries have these capsules, you're not allowed to just run around Cape Canaveral with a camera. So Mitch Bromwell has the highest security clearance in NASA and the Kennedy Space Center. They don't hand out that kind of security clearance to the average guy on the island or on Cape Canaveral, because it's an island. So on Cape Canaveral, they don't hand that stuff out. So we're talking about a man who is in fact a very, very high security clearance man who comes. I feel honored that Mitch Bromwell is on my channel. Comes to my channel, Michael Fazio of all people, and then donates on a regular basis, and then admits that he's a religious person with sin, and explains the tenets of religion because he has no fear for speaking the truth. Like Mercury 3 spoke the truth about Tom and Ruth. I believe that Mercury 3, well, the Old Spice guy would name his friendship and his belief in the Old Spice guy. This isn't a random event that Mitch Bromwell adheres to and believes in the words of Mercury 3 or the Old Spice guy. This is a set of moral turpitudes in play, that in fact there is a proper way to live life, okay? And that Mercury 3, Mitch Bromwell knows for a fact that Mercury 3 is a good man, or Old Spice guy is a good man. And I know for a fact that Mitch Bromwell did not become the man who he is today with the security clearance and his background of teaching astronauts to be better astronauts unless he himself is, in my opinion, a good man, an honest man to be sure, because that goes as part of your background check. You're not going to be some lowlife and teach astronauts. It's just not going to happen. Maybe astronauts might have to say certain things to the public for national security clearance aspects of reality, but they're not going to be lying to one another within the ranks. And Mitch Bromwell teaches these people how to be better people. So a big shout out to Mitch Bromwell for being the man that he is and standing up for Old Spice guy Mercury 3. And we're going to sing from Michael Fazio and Miss Daisy Mae. That's right, baby. Okay, so we're going to sing Thank You. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mitch Bromwell, from Michael Fazio and Daisy Mae. Because, my friends, Daisy Mae still does, in fact, receive. But more importantly, in the last 3 weeks that I put money aside for Miss Daisy Mae, that had nothing to do with the 3,000 pesos I sent her on this Palawan Express thing. The money I put aside for Miss Daisy Mae, that money, she asked me not to send it, and I would be inclined to talk to her about this because we're already at the 12th for Christmas, or her birthday, which is following after Christmas. So when I say something, it is true. Now, anybody that talks to Miss Daisy Mae, and there are people here that have that ability on Skype and on through Facebook and so on and so forth, they know that what I'm telling you is the truth. So thank you very much, Mitch Bromwell, and God bless you as well. Although I do believe in the power, there's a spiritual energy that pervades the entire universe, both in the future and the past and in the present. We use small words to call it God, but I do believe in that. And I will tell you what happened to me yesterday. I got ran over by a jet ski, and a series of events that are just too unbelievable to happen took place and prevented me from being killed by this jet ski. And I have the woman who ran me over, 2 Filipino police officers. I called the police. A Chinese tourist ran me over with a jet ski, straight over me, not to the side, not near me, straight over me, and smacked me in the head with a jet ski. No way I should be here today. But a series of events much too complex to describe in 15 minutes happened, and I saw the jet ski duck down, and all I got was a knot on the top of my head. So is there something that guides our path and our destiny? Yes, there is. Is it God? We call it God. Does it pay careful attention to certain people? Yes, it does. So when Mitch says God bless everybody, he may mean God, the Father of Jesus. He may mean the spiritual energy of the universe, and he may have an understanding, a personal relationship with God, and it might be his God. But he's serious about this thing that is God, and or may be God according to his point of view. He is very serious. Now, I also am 100% sure he believes in this higher power, which I do, but I don't believe per se in the God of the Bible that is the Father of Jesus. I do believe it exists. I do believe Jesus existed too, but I don't believe in the parameters around the. Is there an overwhelming, encumbering power that guides us with free will? Of course, yeah. Did Jesus have certain abilities? Yes. And many people throughout history have had those powers. If you look up the Bible, Melchizedek was a man that lived 1,000 years before Jesus, or several hundred years before Jesus. Oh my God. Wait a second. Put my holy macaronis. Melchizedek was a. Thank you. I don't know who you are yet, but I'm gonna. Well, look at this. We have a rainbow forming on the channel here. It's a rainbow falling slowly on my channel, and we will say thank you. Salamat, salamat, salamat. I made money without a pot. Salamat. Wait. So I will tell you that this man named Melchizedek, I could look it up. I will. Melchizedek did what Jesus died. Cheselde. It could be DEK, or it is DEK. I did spell it right. Okay, it's Melchizedek, but it's not spelled with a. It's not spelled with. I'm going to give you the genesis of Melchizedek. Okay, so I'm going to give you a link. I'll read it to you too, because Melchizedek existed according to the Bible. So who was Melchizedek, and what is his significance? He's in the book of Genesis. So I'm going to give you this link. The narrative of Genesis 14 is part of a larger story telling how Abraham returns from defeating King Chedorlaomer and meets with Bera, the king of Sodom. And then I'm going to give you a link. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine, and he was the priest of the God of the Most High God. So I know you people think that I don't understand the Bible and I haven't read it multiple times, but I'm telling you, I understand the Bible, which is why I wrote the book, Angels on the Ark, and why I know about Melchizedek, because he was real. I believe Melchizedek was real. So I'm going to give you the link right now, and I'm going to tell you that God, or this thing that we call God, is in fact an actual physical reality in In reality, I'm not lying to you about this. I'm not making up this story. I'm telling you that Melchizedek existed. He had. Okay, so Melchizedek, I'll just give you a brief synopsis, and I'm going to let you read it because I put the link there. Okay, Melchizedek. Oh my God, we do have a rainbow come. Oh God, this is holy macaroni. We have a rainbow. We have a thunderstorm here occurring. We have those red wires. Those red. Hey, buddy. We have a rainbow. We have double 50s. We have a 20. We have a 5. We have a couple of deuces, and we have a rainbow. Let's start the rainbow over here. We have the great Scott the Fuego clapping hands, baby. We have Old Spice at a major generous $2 super chat right here. $2. Mr. Willis kicking up another deuce, making this a rainbow. We got a green, we got a red, we got a blue, we got a yellow, we got an orange, we got another orange and a yellow. It's a rainbow. Where was I? So Mitch Cromwell does believe in this higher power, and I believe in the higher power. Yesterday was proof that there is God, to me, or my version of God. I shouldn't be here. I'm going to devote an entire show to this Sunday. I should not be here today. Okay, so that's my dissertation on Mitch Cromwell. Thank you, Mitch Cromwell. Thank you very much, Mitch. Thank you very much, Mitch Cromwell. From Michael Fazio and Daisy Mae. Thank you, Mitch. You are, in my opinion, you honor me just to come to my channel and say hello in a friendly manner. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, Mitch. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, Mitch, I'm going to read Mitch's comment again. I am praying for Old Spice Guy and Mercury 3. Now, why is Mitch praying for Old Spice Guy and Mercury 3? Well, Mercury 3 is an honest man, but Mercury 3 has made it clear that there are some medical issues that could be better in Mercury 3's life. I won't say what. So Mitch Cromwell knows what they are, or knows they exist. So he is, and then to add to Mercury 3 is an honest man and always has been an honest man. And Mercury 3 will never be a dishonest man. He doesn't have that genome in his body, in his genetic makeup. Honor and honesty comes first in Old Spice Guy Mercury 3. So if you're not subscribed to his channel, please go there and subscribe to the Old Spice Guy. He has the wrench. So I'm praying. Mitch Cromwell says, I'm praying for Old Spice Guy and Mercury 3. You here without sin can start casting the stones. Okay, so the saying is, he who is without sin may cast the first stone. But Mitch Cromwell shortened that so that he could get it all in. So he made it a little bit more succinct. Mitch Cromwell, I am a sinner, and I know if you lie, you fire. LOL. So if you lie, you fire. So you burn in fire. That's my interpretation. And then he goes on to say, God bless everyone. Thank you, Mitch Cromwell. Salamat. And he may very well be right. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you when the G ran over me, what I was thinking, why I only got a knot on the top of my head and why I'm still here. The series of events of me worrying about falling off a motorcycle twice, seriously, falling off a motorcycle twice when I took a hobble to the city was so ingrained inside my head for the last 48 hours before yesterday. So within the last 72 hours, I was certain that there was going to be a motorcycle crash and I was going to have a head injury. No, I'm not thinking that there was going to be a motorcycle crash. I knew it to be a fact. In fact, coming back from the city, I wanted to get home in a hurry to do something online, and I went to one motorcycle guy had no helmet. Another motorcycle guy had a helmet with an elastic band that, like an elastic band that you'd put in a shirt collar. Another guy had a motorcycle helmet with a lock with that was short, like just around just the top of the head, like a skull cap. And then I didn't even talk to him. And then I found a guy with a full bell helmet, not a bell helmet, but a full helmet with a proper face shield. I took that. So that's how sure I was that I was going to have a head injury. And then I went swimming on the beach and got ran over by a jet ski. So the helmet did not help me at all on the motorcycle. But I knew I was going to have a head injury. Now, you can believe what you want, but I knew that was going to happen. How it was going to happen, I was wrong. But I knew 72 hours ago I was going to have a head injury. And the head injury I do have. There's no doubt about it. In the video that's loading right now, I'll show you the video. In the video that's loading right now, it's a Chinese tourist runs me over with a jet ski. Okay, here it is. Alona Beach. I'll just copy this down for you. Alona Beach. Chinese tourist literally ran me over with a jet ski. Police on site, part 2. So this video is at 52%. This is part 2 of a 2-part video. Now, it takes me 1 hour for each minute. So this one still has 5 more hours. And then the first video will be 11 hours. So at best, I might get these 2 videos loaded by Sunday morning. Okay, so I brought 2 police officers to the scene because one was supposed to be able to interpret Chinese. I demanded an interpreter. I wasn't going to let these people leave without saying what I had to say, and they didn't speak English. Actually, the girl who ran me over spoke English a little bit, but not much. But the police interpreter came, and he didn't understand their dialect. So there was a Chinese member of that group that somewhere, and I don't know where, they did not want to leave. They wanted to stay until they understood what I had to say. And I'll discuss that in Sunday's live stream. But I had things to say to these Chinese people, especially the fact that the girl ran me over with the jet ski, hit me, smacked me in the head, saw me flailing around in the water, and then left the scene of the accident. Well, boy, was I upset about that. I can't tell you what I said, but there were over 50 people on the beach that heard what I said, and every one of them was in total agreement with what I said, and they knew what happened, so including the police, and it's in the video now. I asked the police, do you believe I'm correct, right? And there was no doubt about what I had to say to these Chinese people. I was right. And I said it in a way that they understood. After she smacked me in the head with the jet ski, while I was swimming to shore, while I got out of the water, while I went to the jet ski rental place and read them the riot act, and than whilst I was on camera. I was much calmer when I was on camera, but I had things to say, and they needed to hear them, and they were going to stay there all day until I got an interpreter that spoke that dialect of Chinese, and that's what I did. I got that. I got an interpreter to come to the channel. So let's move on here. First of all, Old Spice Guy, he shared it. So we have a super chat of $2 from the Old Spice Guy. Mercury always starts off small and works his way up to the big stuff. But we're going to sing. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, Old Spice Guy, a.k.a. Mercury 3, from Michael Fazio and Daisy Mae. Salamat. So thank you very much, Mercury 3. Appreciate that. And if you, well, Daisy was on Skype. I can't get the Skype on my computer working. There's a glitch. Maybe after I had all of those 6 updates installed, maybe when I did restart the computer after the last update, but sometimes it takes a while for them to kick in. But my Skype would not go on, even with the proper email, the proper name, the proper address. But Daisy is on Skype now, and she's been on Skype because she has enough money to maintain an open Skype account. So you're welcome to contact her. She's a little bit shy about contacting you, but she said if you contact her, she would like to say hello to you. Old Spice Guy, Mercury 3. Mr. Willis, salamat. So Mr. Willis and Old Spice Guy, very generous donations of $2 each. And also, Mr. Willis is a member of my Patreon community, a major contributing member to my Patreon community. We're not talking about a minor member. And Mr. Willis and I spoke this week. And last week we didn't speak. Mr. Willis was sick. We spoke this week for about 1 hour, roughly. I try to keep my Skype calls to about an hour. It was about an hour, and Mr. Willis understands my point of view, and I understand his point of view, and we are in agreement. Okay, so Mr. Willis, thank you very much, Mr. Willis. Salamat from Michael Fazio and Daisy Mae. Okay, now, thank you, Mr. Willis. All right, so Old Spice Guy had some comments before the super chat, and this page keeps sliding up and down. Old Spice Guy says, "High Flying Circus." Okay. Mr. Bromwell says, "Hello, I see that I am mentioned only in a positive point of view. Only. And from me, anyway, that's for sure. Old Spice Guy, because of him, I deleted all." Old Spice Guy, because of him, I deleted all. Did you delete all of your? Oh, I don't know. I don't know what that means. All your videos, all his comments, all Tom and Ruth's comments. I'm not sure what that means. All right, maybe you could. All right, so Mitch Bromwell says, "I just wanted to tell Michael that I was looking forward to seeing the aftermath of the jet ski operator." Well, you see that on Sunday morning. Now, Old Spice Guy says Mitch Bromwell works to docks. Working on the pot, but want to see the flush. Whoa, we talking flushing here, baby. We're talking the toilet, the portable toilet. Whoa! You don't have to ask me twice. Old Spice, I'm working without the pot, but he wants, I got the toilet right here, baby. Old Spice wants to see a flush. Let's show the people in Cebu and the United States what good flush has done. Let's pretend that the flush already occurred, but we're going to get the pot. We need, we will flush you. Da, 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 da. We will flush you. If you're from Cebu, da, 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 da. We will flush you. Da, 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 da. We will flush you. Da, 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 da. La, 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 la. Ah, la, 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 la. We will flush you. Da, 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 da. We will flush you. Da, 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 da. See this? This is the actual John. And if you like, you can call the John my Uncle Seaman, because my Uncle Seaman, his nickname was John. So you could call Uncle John Seaman or Seaman Uncle John, because he was composed originally when, when Grandpa and Grandma had the event. He was originally just Seaman, and then maintained his seamanship higher life of religious zealotism. So, and there was another, my God, I can't see there. We're talking rainbow here. Holy macaroni. Let's have Old Spice guy again. Oh my God, we're gonna have to sing. Look, it's a rainbow, flashing colors in the air. It's a rain. Look, see, Old Spice guy got himself an Indian there, and another Old Spice guy here. Okay, stop the bar. Tired of liars and doxers. Not a real guy. Stop the BS. Stop the BS. And then we have another comment here. Old Spice guy just dumps $50 into the toilet, into the flushing of the toilet, into the toilet, so to speak. 50 and 50 and 10 plus 2, that's 110 plus 2, 112. He's a number one fan, baby. He's a fan of the flush. So let's teach that guy in Cebu what a good flush can do. Hey, that rhymes. We will flush you. Da, 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 da. So let's make a rainbow first. I like the rainbow thing. We will flush you. Da, 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 da. We will flush you. Da, 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 da. We will flush you. Da, 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 da. We will flush you. Da, 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 da. We will flush you. We will flush you. We will flush you. If you live in, oh, this is how you do it. You make a rainbow, flushing colors on my screen. I want to hear you scream. Flashing colors on the screen. It's a toilet bowl. It's a toilet bowl on my chin. It's not a sin to have a toilet bowl on your chin. In fact, a toilet bowl on the chin is the same as a pot, which will win. A toilet bowl on the chin. It's not a sin to have a toilet bowl on the chin, 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 which is different than cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. So, dedicated to my uncle Seaman, John Fazio, what we have here is the actual toilet bowl on the chin, right? And we got $112, 5,600 peso donation to watch this next event occur in real life. So to the police out there, to the prosecutor, to the psychological people that are going to evaluate this crazy nut with a toilet bowl on his chin, I want to show you just what happens when you put a toilet bowl on your chin. It's not a sin to put a toilet bowl on your chin. We have a most generous $5 donation. Another most generous $2 donation. Another most generous $2 donation. And then we have a most generous $10 donation. But then we have a most generous $20 donation. And then we have a most generous $50 donation. And a most generous $50 donation again. So let's just get this show on the road for those people that are psychologically evaluating me because of that guy in Cebu who doesn't get any super chat. That's right, baby. Let's talk about putting a toilet bowl on your chin and how it can be as beneficial to have a toilet bowl on your chin as it is to have a pot on your head. Same thing. Toilet bowl on the chin, pot on the head. 5,000, actually 5,000, almost 6,000 pesos for putting, because these guys knew I was going to put a toilet bowl on my chin. Except Mitch, he didn't know that. It was toilet bowl on the chinny chin chin was a big surprise for Mitch Bromwell. So let's get this show on the road. This is the toilet bowl, and this is the tank. Okay, here's the tank. So what you got to do is you got to fill the tank with water, and then once the tank is filled with water, then you take the tank and you put the tank next to the John. Okay, now you put these two together, and you back away from the screen a little bit. Then you take the water in the tank. The water in the tank is going to be tipped over into the John or the toilet bowl on my chin. And we're going to take the water from the tank and put it into the John or the toilet bowl on my chin. And we're going to go chinny chin chin, ching 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 ching, ching 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 all the way. Oh, what fun it is to put a tank of water in the chinny chin chin toilet bowl. Chin 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 chin. Oh, what fun it is to put a toilet bowl on the chin chin chin, chinny chin chin, chinny chin chin, toilet bowl on the chin. Oh, what fun it is to flush a toilet bowl on the chin chin chin, chinny chin 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 chin, chinny chin 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 chin, chinny chin 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 chin, ching 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 ching. Ching, 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 ching. Watch the money roll up on the screen when I put the toilet bowl on my chin. My chin. The toilet bowl's on my chin. The toilet bowl's on the chin. The toilet bowl is moving the water back and forth because There's no super chat in Cebu, baby. Chin, chin, chin. Toilet bowl on the chin. La, 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 la. La, la, la. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. Chin, chin. Toilet bowl on. Toilet bowl on the chin, chin, chin. Chinny, chin, chin. Chin, chin, chin. Chin, 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 chin. Jesus said, take the tank, put the water in the tank, then crank the tank down on a 45-degree angle and put the John on your chin. Jesus said, Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to you. Oh, and did I mention there's no super chat in Cebu? All the super chat has come to behold for the day. They left Cebu in a no super chat way. Putting the tank on the chin gives me a big spin on life, and you guys out there psychologically evaluating can go on laughing with me, because I put the tank on my chin for 5 minutes. I earned 6,000 pesos because I put on a show, a really, really big show. I do this for my subscribers. That's why my subscribers say, hey, Mike, have a nice day. Put that tank, put the water, flush that tank into the toilet, into the John. Put that water into Uncle Seaman John. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. Laughing all the way at the people in Cebu that don't get any super chat because you can't do what I do. No, because you have no personality. Personality. Fazio got personality. Personality. Fazio got personality. Ha, ah, 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 ah. All right, so I'm gonna put the tank down and step away from the cam. It's the only logical thing to do. And you know me, I'm a very logical man. So let's go back up. We're going back up to the first $50 donation by Old Spice Guy, which is Mercury 3. Old Spice Guy. Oh, I'm gonna put that up for a Christmas special. Old Spice Guy. Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Well, let's go to Mitch Bromwell first. Oh, I apologize, Mercury. I apologize. You know, I would have to talk to you on Skype, and I can do that after the show. I'll give you. I didn't break any rules. I did not break any rules. There's no doubt that it was an okay upload, but I wanted to do something special. Okay, I'll tell you why I took it down. This is for the explanation to the Old Spice Guy Mercury 3. All right. The last 6 or 7 videos before that live stream I did on the giant cellulite guy, the guy that's that guy over there, the big guy. they were all Alona Beach videos. They were all related to Alona Beach, and they were all related to things to do on Alona Beach. That video had not much to do with Alona Beach. So, right and in the middle of Alona Beach videos, to put something like that in between it would probably not be advantageous, because then with the amount of backwash that you could get, even though I broke no rules, with the amount of backwash, it's going to take away from my good uploads from Alona Beach. So logistically speaking, it was a good move to take the video down. As far as breaking any rules or regulations, it broke zero of those. So I am sure, absolutely, positively, 1,000,000% sure, it had been flagged 100 times. I left it up for a couple of hours. I left it up long enough for anybody that wanted to download it, and then I took it down. And I left it up so that they could download it, so that they would spend hours long forming a video that had no abuse of the guidelines or content. So I left it up so that they would waste their time during the course of the day to flag that video. I know what the guidelines are. I broke no guidelines. So I left it up on purpose so they would take the time to copy it, to download it, whatever they do it, and then they would review it. That would kill another 3 hours of their day. And then they would make notes about it, which would kill another couple of hours of their day. And then they would flag it, which would take another couple of hours of their day. I left it up for about an hour and a half or 2 hours so that they could copy it, note it, flag it again, and flag it again after that. I left it up so they would waste all that time of their day. Because if they want to spend their life long forming, I gave them the opportunity to long form something that broke no rules. So it was a mental choice, one, logistically, so that it didn't kill my views on my Alona Beach video, and two, to destroy several hours of their day with their worthless long forming and flagging of my channel. That's the answer to your question. I could have removed it immediately, and that would not even have been an issue. Now, Mitch Bromwell says, does anyone really follow the rules? Except for security guards at the resort extolling, well, he didn't say so, 4,000 pesos, LOL. That was off the chain. That was off the chain. And the truth of the matter is, I thought my friend didn't own the hotel anymore. And after I did my last video right in front of the Blue Water, I asked security if my friend still owned a hotel, and they said yes. So he is never on site, though. He does not live he lives in the Philippines, but he doesn't live at the resort. I think in first 3 years I was here, I may have seen him twice to talk to him in person. He's that resort is just a side issue for him. So I could actually have made a proper complaint about the security guard, but what good would it do? They all know what the guys are doing there. We have Mitch Bromwell. Does anyone really follow the rules except for the security guards at the resort? Extorting 4,000 pesos. Very good comment. Good comment. There is control. Mitch Bromwell's Old Spice guy says there is control. Mitch Bromwell says, OSG. What's docs? Okay, wait a second. Explain, please. Okay, so at some point, Old Spice guy inferred that, all right, Old Spice guy. Okay. All right. So we're going to start at the top here. Old Spice Guy says, I am pissed. many doxers or dozers. Then he says, Mitch, Scoot B. Now, I don't know who Mitch is. I'm not sure who Mitch is. You might have to confide in who Mitch is in this comment. Mitch says, Old Spice Guy says, I am pissed. Many dozers. I don't know what a dozer is. Mitch, Scoot B, etc. Tom and Ruth. Oh, that's where the R&R comes from. Tom and Ruth, double R. Okay. It is Mercury. So Old Spice Guy is Mercury. Mitch says, hello, I am mentioned. Because of him, I deleted all. Ah, okay. You're saying, oh my God, you are saying that, am I correct that you're saying that Tom and Ruth doxed you? Who may I ask doxed you? Because whoever they are, if they're on my channel, no matter who it is, you can flag them out of the channel and block them. If you see somebody come on here under a fictitious name or somebody that did any injustice to you whatsoever, Mercury, you have my blessings to delete, block, go to their channel and block them permanently, okay? Because you know that I've known you. I separate a lot of things when I send out mail and things like that. We have a select group of close personal friends that aren't going to dox anybody else. But anybody who's doxed you, you see them here, you can them. We have more super chat up on top here. That looks like a Scott Del Fuego. It's a Jim Chewy. Been super with work for Uncle Sam and missed some shows. Thanks for allowing replays. Keep it up, Daddy-O. Jim Chewy. Now, Jim Chewy, well, we're going to sing for Jim Chewy before we go back to Old Spice. From Michael Fazio and Daisy Mae, Jim Chewy, who we remain good friends even today. So thank you very much, Jim Chewy. Salama from Michael Fazio. Daisy Mae. No matter what that guy in Cebu says, Daisy and I are going to be friends for a very long time, or until for some reason she chooses not to be my friend. But so far, we're friends. We were friends for 3.5 years. We were friends for the last 5 months, and we're probably going to be friends until one of us passes away. So for all that nonsense that you hear, I'm thanking you from Michael Fazio and Daisy Mae for the super chat, because she does receive half the proceeds. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to go back to the comments, and hopefully Old Spice is making a statement here. Because of him, deleted all. Now, you mentioned Scoot B, you mentioned a man named Mitch, and you mentioned Tom and Ruth. Who is the person that doxed you, may I ask? Thank you. Mitch, okay, we covered Mitch's comment. You will see the outcome of the Chinese jet ski operator while snorkeling that ran me over, and she could have killed me. There's no doubt about that. And I'm going to give you word for word, blow by blow, 72-hour description of what happened within 72 hours before I got smacked in the head from a jet ski going 30 to 40 miles an hour. And so you have my blessings to block Tom and Ruth. They have no quarter on my show. They can't come on my show and apologize. They can't come on my show and justify what they said about Miss Daisy Mae. They can't come on my show and justify the laughter that they gave Ken Unger, and or the laughter they gave the Mrs. Hemi or Mr. Hemi or Mrs. Heminger. They can't come on here and justify anything they did which defamed and degraded Miss Daisy Mae. Am I making an example out of them? No. No one is allowed to come on my show and say they're sorry, because we're all adults here. And when you know something's wrong and you do it anyway, well then, apology not accepted. So Mercury or Old Spice guy, feel free to block, permanently block, time out, delete any and all of everything that you need to do. You have my blessings. And I sincerely mean that. I wouldn't question anything that you did on my channel, ever. Never have, never will, and I'm not going to do it now. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm gonna try something. I don't know if this computer has the capacity. I'll try to take I'll try to reload that video in my movie maker if I have time. And I wanted to do something with that video, add some things, and just take cuts of that video and add them to other parts of the video. I don't know that I'm going to get to it. Scott Del Fuego says, anyone that was nice to Daisy and then turned on her, calling her foul names and picking on a girl that won't defend herself is a disgusting snake. Not white knighting, just being loyal to a friend. And that's, there you go. There it is in a nutshell. The giant pile of fatty tissue turned on Miss Daisy Mae. Tom and Ruth made dozens of derogatory comments and or insinuations, or laughed at some of the most disgusting things that you could say about a person, and that Miss Daisy Mae's name was in the derogatory comment. Tom and Ruth still felt it necessary to laugh at those comments. Why? Because, in my opinion, Tom and Ruth, for all that religious blah, 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 and we believe in Jesus Christ, and we are Seventh-day Adventists, and we pray all day Friday and Saturday, in my opinion, they're just a couple of sanctimonious hypocrites looking for a couple of lousy views on YouTube. And in my opinion, their content, I watched the first video I have watched of Tom and Ruth after I did my live stream. And then I discovered that they were Seventh-day Adventists, sanctimonious hypocrites, in my opinion. Then I discovered that to be the truth, that they are. And Tom say, we pray all day Saturday and we pray on Friday, but come to our YouTube meet and greet, make friends. Well, with friends like that, well, first of all, I don't have much to do with religious zealots, and they are, because that's what they did. They're zealots. Okay, all right. So anybody that picks on Miss Daisy Mae, okay, not allowed here. I wouldn't even let you say you're sorry. Now, bringing to the point, I discussed this with 222 Fox 1. No, Fox, don't put a load on your phone. I'll call you after the show. If you wanna do something this afternoon, we can do that thing that we talked about the other day. We can do some diving, but it's a completely different location than from where I live. I'll have to send you directions or give you directions on the phone. Okay, so Fox, let me go down through the comments. If you're near, I got a message on Skype. Hold on. All right, so I don't know who's messaging. Maybe Daisy. No, Daisy sent a message for today already. Okay, Scott. Okay. Scott, just 1 minute, please. Okay, I got it. Yeah. I was afraid of that too, Scott. And while we're on the subject, let me move Fox. Let me call you now. I'm going to call you right now. Now, I don't know if you gave me your phone number on another video. Mitch Bromwell, thank you for stopping by. Thank you very much. So, Mitch says anyone that wants to send him unsolicited mail, feel free to Mitch. Yo, buddy. Hey, Carl, how you doing? All right, thank you. I didn't see it yet. No. Do you want to get together later? Is that why you're calling, or are you calling to say good? Yeah, much nicer than where we were the other day. Okay, where are you now? What time? What time do you want to do the snorkeling? Okay, let me finish the show and I'll give you directions because it's a little bit complicated, but it's easy if you get a hobble driver that knows where it is. Okay. Okay. No, it's only a few minutes from where you are, but I have to give you directions. Okay, so it's 12:25 now, or 12:21. It's 1:21 actually. In a half an hour, the show will be over. I'll give you directions. Okay. Okay, buddy. You don't have to be by the phone for 38 minutes, but in 38 minutes you're going to get directions. Okay. All right. Cheers. Bye bye. Okay. So Scott, so we can talk about Warren, Mitch Bromwell. Mitch Bromwell says anyone who wants to send him unsolicited mail, and he gives his address. Mercury or Old Spice guy tired of the same thing. The realms are full of them. Man, Bear, Pig is a man who does meditation and is aware of the spiritual forces of the universe. And I'm not kidding about that. He actually believes that these things exist and has a sense for the spiritual nature of the universe. Man, Bear, Pig, thanks for stopping by. And of course, Man, Bear, Pig is a major donator into my Patreon account. Cebu. How many Patreon accounts do you have, Cebu? So, Old Spice slammed it with super chats today. Scott Del Fuego, a day that will live in infamy. Yep. And that's because I approached this video with a little bit more zeal to expose Seventh-day Adventists and or Christians and or sanctimonious religious people. So we're going to have to sing for Scott Del Fuego from Michael Fazio and Daisy Mae. Thank you very much, Scott Del Fuego. Salamat. And Scott Del Fuego, what did Scott Del Fuego from Michael Fazio? Daisy Mae. Look what Scott did to the rainbow. Look what he did to the rainbow. It's a rainbow. It's a rainbow. Flashing super chat money. It's a rainbow. Scott started all this stuff over here. Over here. It's a rainbow. Flashing 50s in the air. Old Spice guys cares. La 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 la. Old Spice guys, the #1 fan. Scott Del Fuego is the #1 fan. Mitch Bromwell is the #1 fan. Old Spice Guy is a #1 fan. Mr. Willis is a #1 fan. Old Spice Guy is a #1 fan. And Scott Del Fuego is a #1 fan. He made the rainbow. Flashing colors on my screen. Scott started it with a green. Flashing colors on the screen was started with a green. Went down from green to blue, not in Cebu. Then the Old Spice Guy came in with orange, like an old lady's hair, sitting at a bingo parlor with orange hair. And Mitch Bromwell came from space and put some grace with some red. Super chat on the screen, and then Old Spice Guy cleaned it up with some purple and some more purple, and only to be outdone again by Scott Del Fuego with a yellow. And we go up through the show, and let's make a rainbow. Flashing colors on the screen. We started with green, worked our way down to blue, but nothing in Cebu, till the Old Spice Guy came from where he lives and hit it with a yellow. Then Mitch Bromwell came from space with some grace. Only Old Spice Guy came in and hit it hard with purple twice. And then Scott Del Fuego said, God bless a day that will live in infamy. And Old Spice Guy comes back again to be our #1 fan. Our #1 fan, but not in Cebu. Remember, flashing colors on the screen. We started with green, worked our way down through blue, and then orange, and then red, and then purple, and then more purple, and then we talked about some yellow 2 times from the Old Spice Guy from where he lives. Hello, Dennis Adams. Hello, Dennis Adams. Hello, Dennis. How you doing today, buddy? I will talk to you about the problem that I had. Maybe you could help. It could just be a glitch, just to get off topic. I didn't mean to sing and then go right straight back to business. But Dennis, I have something that you might be able to give me. Tell me what to do. Now, I've refreshed the computer more than 12 times and updated the computer. And this morning at 3 o'clock in the morning, I started a 7-hour full-on virus protection program. So maybe it'll clear up after I start the computer a few times. So let me get back to the show. Welcome to the machine, Dennis Adam. Welcome. welcome to the machine. Thank you for stopping by, Dennis Adam. Okay, so we're going down here. Okay, Old Spice Guy is back. 2 taillights at the top of the screen. 2 taillights at the top of the screen. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. He's talking about the double purples. When the double purples occurred, it looked like 2 taillights at the top of the screen. But remember, we started with green. It's a rainbow, flashing colors not in Cebu. They said hello. La, 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 la. Okay, so Mr. Willis, salamat for your generous contributions. Mr. Willis said to Old Spice Guy. Very nice of you, Mr. Willis. Mr. Willis is a true gentleman, by the way. When I talk to Mr. Willis, he's a very refined, very meticulously thinks out before what he says, and is not an alcoholic or a drunkard. So I really appreciate our conversations, Mr. Willis. Thank you for thanking Mercury and Old Spice Guy. Thank you very much. Nice, and Old Spice Guy is taking it as a badge of honor to get blocked by exposing the truth by Tom. I am honored. So nice to get blocked for exposing the truth by Tom. I am honored. So I feel the same way whenever I get demeaned or blocked or ridiculed by someone who is an outright liar. It doesn't have to be religious, but an outright liar means that I'm touching a nerve. Just like if I could, let's say I wanted to touch a nerve, but I don't want to touch a nerve. What I want to do is I want to show it's a rainbow, flashing colors on my screen. There is no green, even in Cebu, because they don't like you. Then it went from green to blue because they don't like you. Then to orange too because they don't like you. Then Rich Romwell set a fire on the screen because they don't like you in Cebu. Then Old Spice Guy said, watch this. I'll slap him down. I'll hit him with a 50. A guy in Cebu does not have any super chat. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, the guy in Cebu, let's hit him hard. Let's smack his little channel that doesn't get any super chat. Then Scott said, let me show you my orange hair because I don't care. And then Old Spice Guy says he's my #1 fan, and that may be true. But remember, it started out flashing colors on my screen. It's a rainbow. And it started with Mr. Green. It's a rainbow. Flashing colors on my screen. It's a rainbow. No colors for Cebu. They don't like you. They don't like you at all. What rhymes with all? They don't like you at all. They don't call on you, dude. They don't like you. They do flash colors on the screen, and it started with a green. Okay, we have some messages deleted, which we won't even review. Mr. Willis, you will see their true colors when the truth is spoken. Okay, Mr. Willis is talking to Mercury or Old Spice Guy. So Mercury exposed some truth about, I believe, Tom and Ruth. Mercury exposed some truth, and for that he was blocked on another man's channel where Tom and Ruth have a wrench. So Mercury wasn't allowed to voice his opinion. So if I'm right about that, and I am right about Tom and Ruth being Seventh-day Adventists and quoting scripture and Jesus Christ and the Bible and the book of Leviticus, blah, blah, blah. And then he blocked Mercury for talking the truth. And he knows, everybody knows that Old Spice guy Mercury 3 doesn't lie. There's no doubt in any of our friendships, between our relationships between Dennis, Adam, and I, and Warren and Scott and Passport and Carl Vella and talking about Warren. Should talk about Warren. I'm going to read the comments and then I'll talk about Warren. I didn't want to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Jim Chewy, thank you again. John Boone Bean, welcome to the machine, John Boone Bean. Thank you. One day I'm going to send you a message. I'll explain what I was explaining in the live stream the other day. I'll help you set up your channel, okay? And by helping you set up your channel, it'll help Mary Ann's channel as well. I guess I just was mistaken about what I said about your channel. I guess you just don't know how to set the channel up so that you can help out other YouTubers, especially someone like your girlfriend. So one day when I have some time, I'll send you. I have to learn how to do it on my channel again so I can send you the information. Welcome to the machine, John Boone Bean. Sorry about that. Jim Chewy, super busy. Hey, all. Jim Chewy, thank you. So, Bin Super, work with Uncle Sam. And, okay, so Jim Chewy is referring to Mitch Brahma. Been super work with Uncle Sam and missed some shows. Thanks for allowing replays. Keep it up, Daddy. Thank you. Yeah, no, all my replays are up except one, only because it conflicted with my series of Valona Beach videos. I was trying to keep that all in a positive nature, but that show was slightly off the chain, but nothing that would break any rules. I'll probably reload that show around Christmas time. And I want to add some things to the show. Okay, Scott Del Fuego is talking to Dennis Adam. Dennis Adam. Says, please read my Skype message to you. Did you send Jim Chewy, good night. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the most generous super chat. Salamat from Michael Fazio and Daisy Mae. Thank you, Jim Chewy. Thank you very much. A fellow Youper, only somebody from that is a Youper. I was close, but not in the actual Youper area, but I was very close. I had a lot of property in Traverse City. Good night, Jim Chewy. Thank you. Scott Del Fuego says, have to try to sleep. Pretty exhausted this week. I need some things to do night in my life and get back to more normal. Good night, Scott. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. From Michael and Daisy, of course. Let's see what we got going here. I might have to take up some slack here on Scott's, Scott as a wrench. I'm not sure who's still with us, but I am checking this fellow's channel out. I don't know why Wes Seaman has no subscribers, has a picture of a cat, some kind of animal, and is making comments. So he wants to know how barge life is. How's tiny house life? Tiny house life is just fine, Wes. I live better than you do. I live in a nicer place than you do, I'm sure. maybe my house isn't as pretty as your house, but you could never compare what you live in compared to what I've lived in the past. And my tiny little house is doing quite well. Thank you very much. Good night. Good night, Mercury. Good night, Old Spice Guy. Thank you for stopping by. Salamat, Mercury, for the most generous donations. I hope I have brought some happiness and humor. You know, when I put the toilet bowl on my chin, it's a big win. It's a toilet bowl. Putting the toilet on my chinny chin chin. It went ching ching ching. Salamat, Mercury. Okay, in 21 minutes, I will end this live stream. I am going swimming. It's not, I don't care if it's raining or not. No, there is no title. Princess Nude. Now, Princess Nude and John Boudbean, they both have channels on YouTube. So if you're not subscribed to them and you're still watching, Princess Nude lives here and does live streams from her store in front of her house. And John Boudbean lives in Holland and does some cool videos about the waterways and the nature in Holland. Ah, that's right, John Boudbean. It's a Rainbow by the Rolling Stones. That's right. Good night, Mercury. Mr. Willis, you're welcome. I always acknowledge people's character and gestures in real life, on Skype, and even to the point of having to dismiss an invitation to hang out with someone just a few days ago. I don't even want to talk about that story. That guy got really drunk, man. I did not do anything to save his life, but his life was in jeopardy where he was. And he did a really stupid thing. A full-grown man, drunk, way drunk, that asked me to pass him a bottle of Tanduay. There were 10 or 12 cases of Tanduay piled up on the side of the room. So there was 200 people at the party, and every table had 1 or 2 or 3 bottles of Tanduay on it, and then bottles of Coke and orange drink. And the guy asked me to hand him a bottle of Tanduay. He had a glass in his hand, and he put the bottle up to his lips and started sucking it down like it was water. And I said to him, I won't say his name, I said to him, "Oh, you're going to get yourself in trouble here, dude." And he goes, "Nah, I'm okay." He was the boy almost ended up in the water. He got really drunk, sat down next to a beautiful 19-year-old virgin, and she is, and started hitting on her. And he brought a lot of attention to himself. Really not a good thing to do in the Philippines. He was in a world of shit. If the birthday boy didn't come over and save his life, probably he would have been reprimanded much more than he was. Mr. Willis says, "A dynamic speaker you are." Thanks. You're welcome, Mr. Willis. Thank you. YouTube Studio is where I go for any channel needs. It's easy. Okay. Yeah, you know, I've been getting used to the new YouTube Studio thing as well. And well, a lot of functions don't work. And Wes Sleeman, he thinks it's a neat little house that I made very efficient. Wes Sleeman. Okay, so my apologies. I thought a lot of people come here and make fun of my little house, but it has aircon. This aircon is a 15,000 BTU unit that cools the whole place down in under 2 minutes. It has an insulated window. It has it has the equivalent of about R11 or R12 insulation, all the walls and all the ceilings. So, and it has a sink. Of course, it has a bathroom in it, and an 11.5 cubic foot refrigerator, storage, 110 and 220, and all of any electrical utensils or needs that I have for the kitchen. And probably I would say there are 40 plugs between the 110 outlets for the computer and certain parts of the old computer system. It has everything I need, Russ. Thank you for the compliment. Oh, God. Living without aircon. In fact, I have a portable fan that lasts on low speed. It lasts, well, 2 hours is the longest that I've had it on. But yeah, I have a little portable fan. I have no generator. When I went back to New York, to my house in New York, my $2,500 diesel generator was left in the basement during the hurricane in 2012 or 11, Hurricane Sandy. My $2,500 diesel Yanmar generator that was gotten off a tugboat in probably early 1980s, late 70s. I think it was a Yanmar that started up with one pull, put the compression plug down, one pull, or it had an electric starter, and they left it in the water, in the salt water, which wouldn't be problematic if it was flushed out the next day. But after Hurricane Sandy hit, there was no fresh water. So immediately you'd have to soak that in fresh water. You'd have to find a barrel big enough to put that in, or a drum, or constantly flood it out with water. And there was no place to get the water. So they left the generator sit for about 3 weeks until they got fresh water. And then they hosed it down. Okay. Me personally, that generator would have been up on the 3rd floor of my house. Okay. But it was left in the backyard, 3 feet off the height of the backyard on a table. So it was a $2,500 generator. The piece of equipment that you need most after a hurricane or a flood when the power goes out is the piece of equipment they neglected the most. So was my generator $2,500 from my business, from my barge business. It got flooded. 3 weeks later, they hosed it down. A couple of weeks later, they started it up. And within 45 seconds, the armature melted, the circuitry gone. So did the motor start again? Yeah, they changed the oil, but they started the generator part of the all the diodes broke, twisted out. It would have cost $1,000 to replace the diodes. Would have been well worth it, but they shit canned the generator. So I don't have a generator, and I'm not happy about that. I'm still not happy about that, and that was 7 years ago. Yeah, it's a beautiful place where I live. I live, what you see in Alona Beach, just follow the beach down a little bit. And I live on a beach similar to Alona Beach, but nicer than Alona Beach. Old Spice Guy says, it's truly amazing that some don't understand the ramifications of their actions. No, they don't. In fact, I may only talk about sanctimonious hypocrites a few times between now and Christmas, and a few thousand times after Christmas, because that was just wrong. Now, if it was the guy in Cebu or the world's greatest troll, I won't forgive them. No, I will not forgive them. In fact, I'm going to push them at some point, but I won't forgive them. If it was them, you understand that they have low IQs and low self-esteem, and their only satisfaction or gratification in life is to demean someone that they can. They would never do that to me. I don't care. All that stuff being 6'4" and 600 pounds and of steel, and none of that shit means anything to me, dude. I don't care. You are looking at somebody that doesn't care how big you are, how tough you are. Never did, don't now, and I'm never going to. Just don't care. I don't care. I really mean it. I don't care. So all of that stuff, that keyboard stuff, and the fact that I challenged you to a game of hands where if you miss 100 times, you lose, and you didn't want to play hands with me. I wanted to play a nice, simple game of hands, and you refused. He challenged me to a game of hands. Oh God. He said, let's play hands. Oh, God. He hurt my feelings. Dude, it's just a nice, friendly game of hands. Children play it every day here in the Philippines. I've been playing hands since kindergarten. Anyway, here's what I'm going to do. Wes Seaman has 4 generators and solar. Now, you're going to make me jealous. You want to hear something, Wes? All kidding aside, that was my $2,500. It was a Yamaha. Actually, it was a Yamaha generator. It wasn't a Yan. It might have been Yan. It began with a Y. I have a video of it somewhere. All right. Now this is something I would have brought to the Philippines, but I sold it with my barge. And it was a 500 amp Lincoln welder. And it had, it had 110 and 220. It had a 4-cylinder diesel engine. It was a 500 amp Lincoln welder that was continuous use. There was no cycling on the welder. So in other words, but more than the fact that you could burn, and I'm not 500 amps means you could burn a 1/2-inch welding rod. You don't want to do that. The heat that from a 1/2-inch welding rod would kill you. You'd have to be outside in the winter with a fan on you with welding gear. But you could burn 3/8 rod with that machine. 2 men could set up 2 stingers and 2 sets of grounds and go in different directions or work on the same pipe or the same, whatever you were working on platform. 2 men burning 3/8 70-18 or 60-18 rod. 2 men burning 3/8 rod for 4 hours at a time. You would not overheat that welder. So it was continuous cycle, and it put out a solid 500 amps continuous 24/7 if you ran it 24/7. And that one got doused in the Chesapeake Bay. And the motor I got running again right after that when I was stationed in Little Creek Marine in Chesapeake Bay. I think it was Little Creek. Little Creek and Battle Creek. They're right next to each other. I forgot which one they ported me in. And I got the motor running while I was doing other repairs on the barge, but I never got it was 5 days before I got any fresh water. There was no rain after the storm. And then it was another 15 days before I got enough water to wash it out, and the diodes toasted. So, yeah, that was 2 beautiful generators I had. Both of them got salt water in them. I saw one of those Honda inverter generators this big. It was a suitcase one. They wanted 58,000 pesos. Am I talking about the same generator you're talking about? The little Honda suitcase generator. It's about 12 inches wide, maybe 10 and a half inches wide, 12 inches long, and 14 inches high. I thought it was 5,800 pesos. And I told the guy, I didn't have my glasses on. I said, those things are 5,800 pesos. And I was in Cebu at the Robinson's Mall where the big guitar is. And he said, yeah. I said, 5,800. Are you sure? He goes, and it's 30% discount. Yeah. Okay, and it's a 30% discount. So I told the guy, get me 3 of those. He goes, you want 3, sir? I said, yeah, 3. I didn't have my glasses on, but I asked him, is it 5,800 pesos? He said, yeah. So I figured, well, I'll buy these and bring them back to Bohol. So he brings 3 out, puts them on the counter, and it was 5,000, 58,000 3 times is 174,000 pesos, right? Yeah, it was 174,000 pesos. Less 30%. I think it came out to 138,000 pesos. So I took like 20,000 pesos out of my pocket. I knew it was going to be 15,000 pesos. And I put that on the counter. She goes, what's this for, sir? I said, it's to pay for the generator. She goes, excuse me, sir, it's 138,000 pesos. I'm going, what are you talking about? It's 5,800 pesos for each generator, plus 30%. She goes, no, sir, it's 58,000 pesos. I'm going, are you insane? You want $1,100 for a no, yeah, it was $1,100 for the unit. It was in Cebu. I don't know what you paid for it, but it wasn't worth. I don't know. I'll look it up. 1,000 watt Honda inverted gen for sale. 1,100. I don't know what they sell for online, but that's what they wanted. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. That's the price. This is the one. 55,000 pesos at Shopee. 55,000 pesos at Shopee. 1,000 watt Honda inverter generators for sale. 40,000, 38,000 at Lazada with free shipping. I don't know if these are the same. There is a difference here. One has a vertical line here, right here, and this one has a box on the side. So it's probably a newer model. 55,000 pesos. I told the lady, I asked her if she was crazy. She said no. I said, thank you. She said, do you want them? I said, no. And she said, okay, so have a nice day. I left. But I did ask the man, and as far as gen sets are concerned, anything that doesn't say Honda on it or Yamaha, I wouldn't buy it. If it didn't say Honda or Yamaha on it, I wouldn't buy it. Any kind of small motor. All right, so my live stream is over, ladies and gentlemen. We are done. I'll give you the link here for that if you want, and I'm going back to the live stream. Yeah, they are quiet. You don't have to tell me how quiet they are. I had one of those on my boat. The guy came one night, and I had aircon. We were going to stay out there with a couple of girls out by Miami for the Armada. And I said, no. He goes, well, I have a gen set. We'll be able to have some fans, and he had a little refrigerator. He had a boat, but I had an Ocean Racer. 2 different things. So he brought one. You couldn't even hear it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for stopping by. All right, Wes, I got to go. I told somebody I'm going to call them, and in 60 seconds, I'm going to be on the phone. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by. Salamat from Michael Fazio and Daisy Mae. Thank you very much for the super chat. To the fella in Cebu, don't cry over no super chat. I mean, spilt milk. You just don't have what it takes to earn super chat. Flying circus in the air, my friend. He cares. Flying circus. Stood up for Daisy Mae, my friend. Thank you. Mr. Willis, good night. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the compliments. Thank you for being a member of my Patreon account. Wes Seaman. Okay, have fun. Mitch Bromwell is still here. The man who trains the men who are the top of the top of the top of the top echelon in flight. Mitch Bromwell. Salamat. Thank you, Mitch Bromwell. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mitch Bromwell. Salamat from Michael Fazio and Daisy Mae. Thank you, Mitch. And Princess Anud, good night. I got to go. It is 2 o'clock, and I am late. You know what? I'll just call this man up because I said 2 o'clock, and I mean when I tell somebody a time. And in the meantime, God bless, Mitch. Thank you very much for your most generous donation. Expat at Large, thank you for stopping by. And thank you for your most generous donation always. Thank you very much. He can't be reached. Okay, so we have a minute. Try your call again later. Wonderful phone system we have in. Nobody likes the Philippines phone system. All right, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I did not eat breakfast. I had cake at 6 o'clock this morning. I spent an hour and a half trying to get the updates in the computer. I waited 7.5 hours for my virus protection. It takes 7.5 hours for my virus protection to go through the system. And I didn't eat breakfast. I had to restart the computer about 7 or 8 times. And then I was tagging and titling videos for Alona Beach. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you so much. God bless. And Merry Christmas. If I don't see you again before Christmas. I am doing a show on Sunday about getting smacked in the head with a jet ski at 40 miles an hour. I bring that up because Mitch wants to see that show. And hopefully by then, I showed you, these videos are loading now. Part 2 is loading. It's at 61%. Alona Beach, Chinese tourist literally ran me over with a jet ski. Police on site, part 2. By Sunday, 2 and 1 should be uploaded, and I might give you some highlights of that video because it's my video. I should not be here. Thank you very much. So for those of you that don't believe in the spirit world, I'm going to tell you a spirit world story on Sunday, and it's not going to have anything to do with any exaggeration. It's going to be the truth. I was somehow guided to turn around when there was no reason for me to turn around. Not at that time, not at any headed to shore. And a woman ran me over with a jet ski somewhere between 30 and 40 miles an hour. And had I not turned around, and I'll tell you why and how it happened, and I was swimming full on speed ahead. There was no reason for me to turn around. She would have just ran over my back and my head at 30 to 40 miles an hour. That's going to be a story for Sunday. Thanks for watching. I'm Pink Permy from Michael Fazio and Daisy Mae. And I will continue to say Daisy Mae in my live streams until she asks me to stop. And she knows that I enjoy saying her name. It's not, there's no inference of anything negative to pull from this. There's nothing negative to infer. It's just that Daisy is my friend and she's receiving half the super chat. So I say her name. It's only common courtesy. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye for now, Mitch Cromwell. Hot Mitch, humping. It's a rainbow, flashing colors on my screen. They started with green, but not in Cebu. They don't like you, humping. They don't like you.